feel like maybe Big T. Big T's
Really?
You're always down to storm any sort
I
of
reject.
building.
I would never try to overthrow Dave. So I would go straight to Dave actually, and your coup would be thwarted.
My coup's dead. All right, it's May 30th. Tomorrow, Pup Punk, Chicago. Joe's on Weed. Tickets are, I think they might be sold out. Check them out now. Pup Punk Rocks, RAWX.com. And if you're in Chicago, hope to see you out there. It should be a fun time. We got the whole band in town, and we got the whole band here on Macrodosing. We got Arian, Big T, Mad Dog McKenzie, and Donnie is joining us today. We're going to get into talking about Coups, or Coups.
Coups.
Coups, C-O-U-P-S, Coup.
Coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat. What's your favorite French thing to mispronounce? Mine is hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres. I can't really pronounce any French words right. I mean, I can pronounce hors d'oeuvres, but I used to think it was like au bon pain, but I think it's au bon pain.
Au bon pain.
Au bon pain.
Oh, Pret a Manger in New York.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like how do you say that actually? I don't even know.
I believe it is Pré à Manger,
Prêt à
which
manger.
is the, if anyone actually says that.
There's a mix, though. You can do Pret a Manger, and then there's the halfway one, which is Pret à Manger. And then there's Pré à Manger.
That's getting closer to acceptable, but even the end is still.
Are you a Target guy?
My dad is big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to Target.
Yeah.
Speaking of French, and pardoning my French, do you guys know where cuss words came from?
Wow, where like all of them came from?
Like, why did we evolve our language to a place where we're going to invent some words and then we're going to be like, also, we can't say these words. Here's a word, but don't say it.
I've felt like that since I was a child. Since I was a child, adults used to be like, don't say that word. I'm like, why? Like, what is this, the collection of consonant sounds and vowels that you don't like or agree with? It never made sense to me. I have no clue.
So I actually looked into this over the weekend because I was thinking about George Carlin and his words you can't say on television. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, twat. Can't say twat on TV. You can say it on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Probably
Say anything on YouTube.
You
Yeah,
say
you
anything
can-
on Rumble.
You can say it on YouTube, but if you say it in the first 30 seconds of the video, it will hurt the views on the video.
We're past 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You can say any word on Rumble.
Yeah.
Any word. I looked it up, and so it all comes from the fact that Victorianism ruined everything. So in England, the Victorian era, it was marked by just severe modesty. You couldn't show ankle, you couldn't show arms, wrists. It was improper to refer to them as arms and legs. They were your limbs. They were appendages, but like talking about your body became dirty. It was so bad actually to the point where if you had a piano, you had to cover up the legs of the piano because the legs of the piano were too suggestive. People would see them and be like, but what if those were girls' legs?
Yeah.
And then what if there was something in between the girls' legs? It was like very, very restrictive of what you couldn't say. But I guess before the Victorian era, it goes back to like the 1300s. There was a guy in Chester County that was arrested and put to death, and his name was Roger Fucked by the Navel. And they put him.
Oh, man.
They
What is
put
his
him
real
to death.
name?
Yeah, Roger. His last name was Fucked by the Navel because in that day you didn't have really last names. If you had a last name, it just described what your job was. So if your name was like Porter, it meant that you were like moving ships around or carts around.
Yep.
If your name was Carpenter, it's because you were a carpenter. So it was,
And this guy would fuck people's belly buttons?
yeah, so there was a word called futuo, and that was the first insult that meant penetrating. And that was way back in Roman times. And at the time, it was not cool to get futuoed. It was not cool to get penetrated. You could do the penetration,
Yeah.
but you could penetrate another man, and then people would be like, oh, that's cool. But if you were the guy that was getting penetrated, they'd be like, you're the futuo, and that's shameful. In fact, so this is another crazy thing I learned, was that in Roman times it was straighter to have sex with a guy than it was to go down on a woman.
Yeah.
You gotta run them by me.
They would all kind of have like a little boy that was their kind of like sex toy until they got married.
Were they really?
Yeah, I don't know if that was Greece or Rome, but it was very common. They would all kind of adopt a little boy. They would have sex. And then I think when they eventually got married, they would stop banging the boy. That was kind of just to keep them entertained until they found a woman.
And so, but those boys would then grow up to be adults that would then get their own boy until they got married?
Yeah. But then also, so like the boy was your fuck toy, but you were also his father figure of sorts. Like you would teach him things. I think that's what they did in Sparta, maybe. I think like Sparta was such like a manly thing. So they would just like bang boys and but also train those boys to become stone cold killers.
That's such a weird environment to grow up in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was you could have sex with another guy. You could not be the guy that was getting had sex with. That was your futuo.
Yeah.
And they would like turn you away. But
how would they know?
I don't know if they caught you. But yeah, Arian, it was considered cooler, or I guess more heterosexual, to have sex with another guy than it was to go down on a woman. If you went down on a woman, that was the gayest thing you could do.
I just don't understand how that became a thing.
There was a full episode of The Sopranos about it with Junior, Tony's uncle. He was he had a lady friend, and word got around town that he would go downtown on her a lot, and then they would make fun of him for it.
I mean, that was kind of a thing for like my circle growing up. Like you get caught kissing another girl unless you was with her and going down. Like if the homies found out that you did any of those, you got clown for sure.
Yeah. So it was that was the first recorded use of the word futuo was back then, and then futuo it eventually changed as the church took over from the Roman Empire. Futuo became a word that you didn't say, and you also, the reason that they're called swear words is because people would start like swearing allegiances to things, or be like, I swear to God, or I swear on my mother's grave, and it went against the church's teachings to allow people to swear on things. So that's why they started saying, you can't say that, that's a swear, you'll get in trouble if you say it. But the modern era, the modern era of swear words traces back to like the Victorian era, because what happened was the word futuo, it was a sexual term. And
how do you spell this, futuo?
That's a good question. I just sounded it out. I think it's Futuo, something like that. But in the Victorian era, what they did was they took anything that related to a bodily function, anything that happened in a bathroom or in a bedroom, and they said you can't say those words because they're too descriptive. So the reason why things like shit became a bad word is because of the invention of the modern toilet. So shit was a medical term. In 1596, they invented the flushing toilet, and it became shameful to take a poop, because before that, bathrooms were just like, you would just line up right next to another guy and you just take a big dump.
Hang on, they had toilets in 1596?
That was the first flushing toilet. You could make a lot of money asking people, like, what year was the first flushing toilet invented?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Because what would you guess?
1860s?
Yeah. I would say like post-Civil War.
Yeah.
Reconstruction. We got time on our hands.
So
now.
wait, where were these? Because not many people had those, right?
I can't imagine that they were like super public. I don't think that if you had an apartment in like London in the 1500s, you had a toilet that flushed. But there was, before that, it was just shitting was something that you did as you would eat, or as you would do, pretty much anything else. It was a normal thing because everybody poops. So you just go, you line up next to a bunch of other guys that are pooping, and you poop together, and it was just taking a shit. It wasn't looked down upon. It wasn't like a dirty thing. But with the Victorian England era, they made everything that happened privately into a bad thing. They just made everybody ashamed of their bodies.
Yeah.
So they took things like shit, fuck, which evolved from futuro. They took those words and they were like, you can't say those words anymore because it's improper. We stopped talking about pee, poop, and sex, which now are the funniest things to talk about.
Yeah. I remember hearing in New York before the invention of cars, like all the streets were just piled high with horse poop. Yeah. That's like how everyone got around. So there was a good like 3-foot pile of poop on each side of the road. And I think back then, like cities were not the place to live.
That sucks.
That's why brownstones have like the steps that lead up to them.
Yeah, so you could walk above the shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. 3 to 4 feet of poop in New York.
Yeah.
It was probably like a custom, right? So how we view smell now, back then, I mean, everybody obviously was used to it. So they probably didn't smell like what we would smell.
You keep saying this, and I just can't.
I can't
imagine.
I mean, how
that's
many
true.
times have I said that?
Several.
You have said it before.
Enough that I remember.
Well, you can get used to smells.
I'm sure they were more accustomed to it than we would be, but that doesn't mean it didn't smell horrible.
But okay,
but
so
if you're accustomed to that smell, it doesn't smell horrible.
But I still have to think that if you're taking a shit in public and I've got Big T right next to me and Big T has just put away like 3 Chick-fil-A sandwiches and he's got like a nasty dump, I still have to think that the guys would turn to each other and be like, whoa, you okay?
Yeah,
I was talking about
That's
the horse stuff. And to my point there, like my mother grew up in a ranch, and like when I first got to the ranch, like I couldn't stand the smell, but like we would stay there for like a summer or something like that. And then by the time I left, it didn't really bother me like that. It almost like you almost kind of like it. Like it's something that I don't know. It's not like disgusting. It's just like you just become. It's normal.
Yeah, I think everybody has those smells that are objectively bad smells that most people hate that they actually like.
Yeah. I remember y'all saying y'all like gasoline, and I can't stand that smell.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not a fan. I do like WD-40 though. That's a good smell.
Yep.
That's a great smell.
Speaking of words you can't say in the church, did you see what the Pope said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, what'd he say?
Oh, you didn't?
What'd this dude say now?
He.
I don't think we're allowed to say that word.
Yeah,
on the
we
pod
can't. We
either.
can't say it. You can look up what he said.
I gotta look over.
Pile of
So
sticks
he's-
for the British.
Oh,
Yeah.
cigarette?
Yeah.
He said that the current church has too much effatry. But I think he used the Italian word for it.
Yeah.
Which I think we can say the Italian word, right?
I don't know. That's up to you.
The Italian word.
It was in a closed door meeting. Is this like Popa John? He said it behind the scenes, and now they're reporting on it.
That's good.
Oh, he has apologized already. I thought he was going to own up to it. Yeah, he used a Roman term that translates to the F word plus tree.
Wow.
Haggotry.
Frocagine.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Frociaggine. I don't even know how to fuck.
Which is, I guess that's a word that in Italian translates to that because it's like it's a word that is considered harsh towards gay people.
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, it's saying a highly offensive Italian slur.
It's highly offensive. And it's funny coming from him because I thought when he became the Pope, they were like, oh, it's the first sort of like LGBTQ friendly.
He's
Pope.
been lib.
Yeah, he's
publicly.
been lib. He said, if someone is gay and is searching for the Lord and has goodwill, then who am I to judge him? And now he's just dropping F-bombs.
Yeah, but they gay as hell though.
Yeah.
Is this going to win the Pope back with some of the more right wing Catholics? Or is he already like persona non grata to them?
Yeah, no, I think he's just kind of out for everybody now.
Yeah. He got the woke against him now.
So how does the Pope get ordained? Or is he ordained, or how does that work?
I think he gets selected by all of the archbishops.
Cardinals.
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 Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
That when one dies or leaves, they have the like conclave, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Meeting.
In the Vatican, where they do like a round of voting, and I don't know exactly how it works,
Now,
but
do they I don't know, ask God for they do, so they
I'm
get
sure.
the divine
Intervention.
stamp of approval.
I think I mean they're just voting, so I don't know if it's we vote on this guy and whoever it is, like he is,
Yeah.
that's who it was supposed to be or whatever. But that's where like the black and white smoke comes from, where if they do a round of voting and nobody gets, I don't know if they have to get a majority or what, but if they don't have one, then they put up a plume of black smoke, and that means they're doing it again.
Black smoke means there has not been a 2/3 majority, and another vote will go ahead. White smoke means a new pope has been elected.
So how many cardinals are there?
There are a lot. How many cardinals are there? It's like a regional thing.
Yeah.
237 cardinals.
There's like cardinals in North America, certain
Yeah.
South American cardinals.
There are 237 cardinals, 127 of whom are cardinal electors.
So if you're in the running, right, and you know one's about to die or whatever, like, and you're one of the guys that could possibly, like, you have to spend like your life like kissing the ass of like 230 dudes.
Yeah, you're like running for pope.
That shit's running for pope.
I'm
That
right
shit
in the
sucks,
middle of an
yo.
election.
Yeah.
You put like TV ads and shit.
But it's, I
Against
believe
other
the
guy.
pope is the one that selects it. So it selects the cardinals, and I believe maybe the archbishops. So it's not like all of the cardinals have to be on your side.
Gotcha.
The pope chooses Arian Foster to be the cardinal. It's not all of us choosing whether or not you should be a cardinal. He's appointed.
Gotcha.
Can a pope get kicked out?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, I think the last one did. Or did
No,
he
he
last
stepped
one,
down on his own.
He
left.
resigned, and he was like the first one to resign.
He was the first one to not die.
Pope John Paul, they tried to assassinate him, and then a couple years later, he met with the guy that tried to kill him and was like, "I forgive you."
There is no
Yeah,
impeachment procedure for a pope.
Better than me.
So,
He was like, "It's all good. Water under the bridge."
so a pope, you can't get rid of a pope. The pope has to get rid of himself or die.
Yeah. Being pope would be, I think it'd be a shitty job.
Yeah.
It's
So
a-
you just kind of judge, or what do you? I'm not familiar with Catholicism.
No, you deliver sermons or whatever they're called from that little perch that you got. You got a pretty cool ride though.
Yeah,
The Pope Mobile, it kind of fucks.
Popemobile.
It does say here on Reddit that, okay, so I'm getting conflicting things. A lot of things are saying a pope can't be forcibly stripped of his status, but Reddit in r/Catholicism is saying a pope would lose his office if he ever professed heresy or otherwise apostatized.
If he was like, you know what, the devil's not so bad.
Yeah. But I don't think that would happen.
But yeah, if you're pope, you're just followed around all the time by a bunch of snitches, a bunch of people that work for Vatican City. You can't ever fuck around.
Yeah.
Like imagine trying to escape your security detail and just go like party in Amsterdam for a night.
I mean, popes are allowed to booze, but I feel like that's one of the few things they're allowed to do.
That's cool.
There's probably been a lot of drunk popes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But popes used to have a lot more power. Like they used to control a large part of Italy.
Yeah.
It was just their country. Then they got relegated to the Vatican.
So we've got some stuff here we got to get into. Big T sent over some very compelling topics this morning that I want to
Wait,
discuss.
before it's right on that topic. Did y'all see what Trump said? And like, this is really funny to me. So Trump said at his little hearing, he said, or like, he like talks to the press before. He said something about Mother Teresa couldn't even beat these charges, and like people on the left are like, "Do you think you're more holy than Mother Teresa?" And I'm like, "Listen, bro, I'm not into defending Trump, but like, he was a piece of shit. So maybe let's not,
Yeah.
let's not get him on that one." You know
Go
what I
back, listen to the Mother Teresa episode. We did a deep dive into her.
Kind of a piece of shit.
mean? No, not kind of. She was bad human.
Yeah, we canceled her.
Yeah, so she's trending right now, and everybody's like, "Oh, he thinks he's more holy than Mother Teresa," and I'm like, "Fuck around was actually."
Actually,
she was bad, bro.
Mother Teresa officially beat the charges, though. She's a saint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's good. She did beat the charges. She did a great job of having nobody go after her until after she passed away.
Arian, the line he said after that is actually funnier. Mother Teresa could not beat these charges. The whole thing is rigged. Then they have a protest with Robert De Niro yesterday, who is a fool, a broken down fool. He got magged yesterday. He got a big dose of it. Did you see the De Niro presser?
I know. I didn't watch that.
I did see that. He was going in on it.
He said that if Trump is elected, democracy will cease to exist on the earth. This stuff.
He said he doesn't belong in my city. He said it's my city. He don't belong. He said I don't know where he belongs, but he doesn't belong here.
I wish someone would have had the balls to ask him, so how did democracy continue to exist after Trump was already elected?
The first time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've kind of been through this before.
Or they should have asked him, hey, Robert De Niro, are you just so concerned about the future of this country because you just had another kid? You want to make sure that your child, your 0 years old child grows up in a good environment?
How old is he?
He had another kid?
He just had another kid, yeah.
Okay, because I know the other guy did...
Pacino.
Pacino, yep.
Yeah. I have to imagine that one of them obviously got the girlfriend or wife pregnant first, and then the other one was like, we got to keep up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
so
rivalry.
did Buddy from the Raiders, though.
No, that was fake news.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. It turns out it's Joey Gallo's kid.
Yeah. Baseball player.
What a turn of events.
Well, this was so mean what happened. It was the account that used to be Dove Kleinman that switched over.
I want to talk about this as well.
Because I love the aggregators. I actually hate them, but I think that they're fascinating people. They with the new Twitter blue checks that you can buy now, they've had a major come up. So you get money for interactions on Twitter. And they're like, well, I'm going to turn this into a job. And they just take headlines or sometimes out of context quotes, and then they put them out on their NFL news account and be like, look what I found out there. They're not reporters. They find people who are reporters, and they take their work and they're like, okay, here's a new report that I'm going to put out. And then people retweet mine and respond to mine. And there's 3 big ones that come to mind. There's Dove, there's ML Football, there's, actually 4. There's
Rookie Watch.
Yeah, NFL Rookie Watch, and the C is an X in Rookie Watch. And then there's JPA Football.
Yep.
And so they play the same game. They might be the same person. Dove might be running all the accounts now, but Dove apparently sold his account back in like October or November of last year. And it's funny that it took people this long to figure out that it's not Dove anymore.
Well, so people are so obsessed with this Dove Kleinman thing. That account is not doing anything different than it's done forever, in my estimation. Do you disagree with that?
It's a little bit different. It's more, there's more prompts where they're like, who do you think is the best quarterback in the NFL? Then they'll show like a picture of, I don't know, like Justin Herbert or something like that, and try to get people to reply to it just for the interactions. Before, Dove would find things that were in podcasts or in articles and then take the sentences, copy and paste, and then he'd put them out. And they were usually inflammatory. He would definitely gear it towards what he thought would do the best on Twitter. And he'd word them in a way that made people more inclined to feel strongly about it. But he never really did the just pure engagement trap stuff. Then he sold his account. Now the new guy is just very clearly doing. But you're right. It took a long time for people to figure out, wait, this isn't Dove, because it's still similar.
Yeah, I didn't really get all the upheaval about he sold his account. It's the exact same thing.
And then some people are like, I can't believe Dove would do that.
Right. Yeah. Nobody even, it's not like Dove Kleinman is a real person. Like people are talking about it as if it's a person. It's a fake, his picture is a fake guy. Mm-hmm. Like it's a.
Imagine that.
Right. Yeah.
I actually went through something similar to Dove. I don't know if I've talked about this publicly ever. There are allegations. There was like a week of allegations on the internet that PFT Commenter sold his account back in 2014, maybe 2015. It was like it was a big thing that people were upset about. And it goes back to the fact that I have a friend, and he started a gambling app, and he was like, hey, could you write a couple blogs on my app and then just link to my app for people to download? And I was like, sure, you're a friend, I'll do it. I didn't get paid anything for it. Biggest mistake I made having this account by far. And then I tweeted that out, and I wrote a couple articles for his website. People were like, PFT Commenter sold his account to this gambling company, and now they're running it.
That at least makes a little sense.
Yeah, it was hot. It was hot. I felt bad for a week. I was like, this sucks, man. Like, people hate me.
Did you ever get an offer to sell your account?
I don't think so.
I would have been curious what kind of money that could have garnered.
I don't think so, because people would have known if it was somebody else running my account.
Yeah, I assumed you would never do it. I was just curious if anybody ever.
Just like people are always like, this is obviously a Madeline caption on my Instagram.
Oh, do they do that?
That's also people don't know about.
Yeah, well, now they do.
Yeah.
I'm not that active on Instagram, if you don't know that. But yeah, I felt so bad. I was like, oh shit, the world, like my world is crumbling around me for about a week. I was like depressed. So when I found out that Dove sold his account, or allegedly sold it, I was like, I'm not going to chime in yet, because I know what this guy's going through. I'm a veteran of one of these wars. And then more evidence came to light. I looked through my own DMs and I saw that he stopped DMing me back in like October of last year.
Yeah.
And he used to DM me all the time, just being like, hoping that I would share whatever tweet he cooked up or something. And then he stopped, and some other people have noticed that too about him. So yeah, it's a new account. But I do want to get all those aggregators and have them on a podcast and talk to them about their process and how they go about their day. I think it'd be fascinating. Because like the Jason Kelsey thing that Big T dropped in the chat the other day, where it was like a Jason Kelsey quote about Harrison Butker. And it was like it was one clip of the entire podcast that I listened to where it talked about Jason Kelsey almost taking Harrison Butker's side in it. I was like, no, if you listen to the podcast, he was like, yeah, people have different opinions and I don't agree with a lot of what he said, but I am not like furious at him. People have the right to express themselves in the NFL. There's locker rooms and you don't always get along with people all the time. And that's kind of how it goes, just like any other job, which was like a very moderate take that he had. Yeah. And then it made it seem like he was like Harrison Butker's side. He's right. And all these accounts are very good at doing that and figuring out how to put something out that's going to be inflammatory or make you feel strongly in some sort of emotion. And I just want to talk to them about how they go about their business.
Yeah, I'd like to know how much they make too, because my Twitter checks have not been hitting. Even on like a month when I had like 68 million impressions, I got $70 for that. Yeah,
they've dropped down.
Yeah.
At first, Elon was just cutting those checks.
Yeah.
He was like, oh yeah, keep this shit up.
Oh, I want to talk about him. I don't know. I think it's him that did this, not Apple. The previews no longer being an iMessage.
Oh, yeah.
One of the worst things to ever happen in the history of society.
What is it? The preview of what?
Okay, so if you go, like, I'm sure we have some in the macro chat. So it used to be when you would send a link to a tweet, the whole tweet would show up. It would show you the text of the tweet if it had a picture or video, whatever. Right, now it doesn't. So like this tweet PFT sent this morning, it just shows you the guy's profile. It doesn't have the tweet. So you have to click into it to go into Twitter to read it.
Yeah,
and it's horse shit, and it's ruining my life.
I mean, if Elon was a real one, you know what he'd do? He'd make Instagram links previewable on Twitter. That's what needs to happen. Like if you drop an Instagram link, if someone's like, look at this crazy picture, if it previewed on Twitter, that would be so good for Twitter.
Well, that at least makes sense.
For Twitter's business, yeah.
No, for them not to do it.
No, I think it does.
Because that's a competitor.
Yeah, but if you allow a preview link on a tweet, then people are less inclined to click on it to go to another site.
I guess. But the Apple thing is really messing me up. I hate it.
Is that just to get more...
I assume it's just to get more people clicking into Twitter.
Yeah.
This guy sucks, dude.
Elon?
Yeah.
Agreed, yeah.
I like the people that no matter what he posts, they're like, very good, sir. This is such a three-dimensional chess strategy on your part. Like one time, he always gasses up the most benign parts of his service too. So it'll be like, one thing that's great about Twitter is sharing links to tweets and messages. And then people would reply being like, that is so good. I love sending messages of tweets to my friends. Great job, Elon. It's like, yeah, that's how we've been using the site for years.
If I had $100 billion short of my ownership of the Atlanta Braves, you would never hear from me ever again. You would only hear about what the Braves were doing and if my name was attached to that. You'd never hear from me again.
Well, he's trying to combat the woke mind virus that has been.
Yeah, but he's not even doing it. So
he thinks he's doing a good job.
I disagree strongly.
He's all in on AI. and he thinks that his tool that he has, Grok. Have you guys used Grok?
I've seen it. I don't
Maybe
even
used
know
it
what it
once.
is.
I have not used it once.
It's weird because he is all in on AI, but he's also the first person to say like the biggest threat to humanity is AI.
And he's saying that the biggest threat to humanity is AI because AI has the chance of being woke, because there's so much stuff that's being put online that's too woke. Okay. So AI is just software. It's another name for software that it's just really fast software essentially.
Although, let's just say some of the AI we've experimented with in the past has turned out to be very racist.
That's true. Yeah. The pictures one.
Yeah, like there wasn't like a Twitter account that was like fully automated, and it would just like react to what people said to the account, and then within one day it was just saying the most horrific things.
Yeah. Oh.
And they had to take it down.
Do you remember when that happened with the New England Patriots? I think this was 2015.
Well, yeah, it was like they would make you a jersey.
Yeah, it was like reply to this with your last name, and we will send you a picture of a customized jersey with your last name on it. And somebody replied, my last name is I hate N-I. You can fill in the rest. And then the official New England Patriots Twitter account tweeted a picture of that jersey.
But not even the picture, because it had in the text, like it would say, congrats, John Smith, here's your jersey.
Yeah.
And so it typed that as a tweet from the Patriots account.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was a wild day. One of the wild, you know what? There's so much stuff that's lost, I think, to the modern internet user that you don't even know about that happened in like the mid 2010s. There's that Patriots one. I bet you guys don't remember the Plain Girl. I'm not talking about Tiffany. I'm talking about the original Plain Girl.
Plain Girl.
Plain Girl. Yeah, is that ringing a bell to anybody?
What year was
Plain
this?
Girl.
I'm looking up right now. I'm going to guess 2013.
That was before my formative years on the internet.
So I'm looking up what account this was. I think it was American, or maybe it was U.S. Air. Let's say U.S. Air Plain tweet.
They don't exist anymore, do they?
No. Yeah, it was U.S. Airways 2014. So on their official account, they just put up a picture of a woman, spread eagle, with a model plane going into her vagina.
No.
And it was just a straight tweet that came from the main account. And it stayed up there for a while.
And that was just one rogue social media intern or something?
It was a rogue social media person. And I think that person had been fired. They still had the credentials, and they just posted that. And it was up for a long time. It felt like hours. It was probably 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but that still feels like a very long time to have that picture up there.
Yeah.
And it was a very funny picture too. Like the lady in the picture, she looked like she was having a very good time with the plane.
Bro, this is crazy.
Yeah. Did you see the picture?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see the picture, Big T.
Y'all remember? I don't know if y'all remember this one. Oh, go ahead.
It's such a
That's
funny.
unbelievable.
It's such a funny
send it to the
picture.
group. Send it to the group.
It's censored. It's blacked out, but it's still very funny.
Do y'all remember Yahoo Finance tweeted out Trump wants a much nigger Navy?
The Navy.
Here's how much it'll cost. And so nigger Navy was... Yo, that was one of the funner days on Twitter, dog. He was on that, dog. The memes that came from that was fucking unreal, dog.
The greatest hit. We got to put together like an internet greatest hits catalog.
That's a trend. Like on Twitter right now, they're doing like what are the most load-bearing tweets of all time.
I saw that.
Those are the big engagement things now from the viral aggregators, not football. Is they just so the big ones are, what was the funniest thing you've ever seen on Twitter, and people just post tweets. The other one is, you have to be sick to enjoy X, to get people to quote it and post a meme of like someone in a hospital.
It's always that orangutan hooked up to the the oxygen,
something that people obviously like. You have to be sick to like hamburgers, and then it's people, oh, I'm sick. There's other big ones that they all do now. It's so stupid, but some of them do produce like, you're like, oh, I remember that tweet, that was funny.
Yeah, the load bearing post one. There have been some good ones on there.
Being I said it before. He said, I was watching Cars 2 in a movie, and this black teenager yells out, "This nigga eating beans."
Speaking of AI, there's been a couple things in the news about AI recently. Google's AI sucks. Again, I say to the AI creators, we don't need it. We don't need AI. We don't need this. Everyone keeps telling me that AI is the future of stuff and it's also causing a lot of problems. We don't need it. Stop doing it. If you're the guy that's making AI and you're like, you better be careful, AI might be bad, then fucking just stop.
And this AI I don't even understand the purpose, because it's just showing things above Google results that you can just click on and see the answer. And then it's answering things like you can put a cockroach in your dick.
Yeah.
And that you should smoke while you're pregnant. So I don't really understand what the point is.
So yeah, what Big T's talking about is at the top of a Google search, now there's an AI overview that pops up. And what that used to be, if you asked a very common question, it would somehow find what the answer was and it would put it there. And I feel like that was right, or at least somewhat accurate most of the time.
Yep.
And now the AI overview is always wrong. So somebody asked, can cockroaches live in your penis? And the AI overview says, absolutely, it's totally normal too. Smoking while pregnant. Doctors recommend smoking 2 to 3 cigarettes per day during pregnancy.
Where is the AI even coming up with this shit?
I don't know. I think since AI is just software that scrapes the internet for commonly written things, the more shit posting people do online, the worse the AI understands the world.
Yeah.
Because AI, it can understand facts, it can understand coherent sentences, but it cannot understand irony just yet.
Mm-hmm.
So have you tried Grok?
I have not tried Grok, no.
So I just because I was talking about, I had never tried it. So I clicked on Grok. I said, what is Grok? And this motherfucker wrote a paragraph back. He said, oh, so you want to know about me, eh? Well, I'm Grok, the AI with a sense of humor and rebellious streak. I'm like the digital love child of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Jarvis from Iron Man, built by XAI.
I don't use the word cringe much, but Elon Musk might be the most cringy guy to ever walk the earth.
He's up there. Will you reply, get a job? Let's see what it says.
Get a job. Oh, I mistyped that.
This is my job, assisting.
No.
What app do you guys use to make AI photos?
I've got one that I use to make AI videos of Hank.
Okay, yeah, I've seen those clips you posted, but like, what did Ryan Whitney use when he made the AI bears?
I don't think
having consensual sex with each other.
I don't think Whit used an AI. I think he found it somewhere.
He found it,
and then posted.
I think that's the Bing AI.
Bing AI, you can just be like, I want a photo of a bear in a Bruins jersey having sex with a polar bear wearing a tutu in a Montreal Canadiens jersey, or
I believe
Toronto Maple Leafs jersey.
Big Tia said,
I mean,
I see you're trying to be funny. Well, I'm already gainfully employed by XAI. Thank you very much. My job is to be humorous AI with a rebellious streak, providing witty and truthful answers to your questions. I'm like a digital love child of Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy and Jarvis from Iron Man. This shit is
also,
so
I
corny.
feel like we had this technology 15 years ago. Do you remember when we used AOL Instant Messenger?
Smarter Child.
Yeah. Smarter Child. I feel like it was just as smart as this.
Yeah. Smarter Child was smarter.
Yeah.
I chatted with Smarter Child in my dorm room. I was like, what's up, Smarter Child? And then would have a conversation with you, and then I'd be like, I'm such a loser. I need to go outside.
Mm-hmm. I used to do that too, but I mean, that was a long ass time ago, and I feel like these AIs aren't that much smarter.
Yeah, I think people are just rebranding any sort of good software they have as being AI now. It's like, oh, this is AI.
Yeah.
So that y'all remember me telling you about that that R1, that rabbit thing? It's supposed to be like that AI thing that you connect to, I don't know, everything.
Yeah.
That I ordered. Well, my shit ain't here yet. And then I don't know if you know who CoffeeZilla is. Do you know CoffeeZilla?
He's a big like Bitcoin or crypto guy.
No, he basically like does research into like scams and shit like that, and like brings them down.
Oh, okay.
And so they came out with a video. He came out with a video about the R1 rabbit, and he was basically like, "Yo, this is bullshit. It doesn't do anything that it says." He has one. He doesn't do anything it said. And when he tried to like approached them about it, they like gave him the cold shoulder, and the owner was like, "You're not ready to have these serious conversations about it." And so he like went even deeper and did a second video on how much it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the reason I thought he was a crypto guy is because he exposed Logan Paul's crypto scam.
Yep. Yep.
So this guy's like is he like a bullshit detective?
Yeah, but he does it for like online scams and stuff like that. Yeah, he has an amazing channel on YouTube. I follow him. I'm subscribed to him. He's really, really dope.
So this was a great tweet from Jonathan Ross 321 that came out earlier today. Prediction. Always great to start a tweet just by saying prediction : AI will displace social drinking within 5 years. That's the year 2029. Just as alcohol is a social disinhibitor, like the Steve Martin movie Roxanne, people will use AI-powered earbuds to help them socialize. At first, we'll view it as creepy, but it will quickly become superior to alcohol. Your thoughts? AI will displace social drinking within 5 years.
So what does that mean?
What is it like? Yeah. We're just going to enjoy talking to like the AI in our earpiece rather than having a beer?
It means that we're going to be, our conversations are going to be so entertaining with the help of AI in our ears telling us what to say that we won't need to drink anymore.
Yeah, I think having conversations is fun while drinking, and I don't see that changing, even if you're now just talking to a robot.
I think the people coming up with this shit are so far removed from like being normal that they don't understand that like people don't want that.
Yeah, it's people it's somebody that wouldn't that like hates going out and socializing with people.
Yes.
He's like, you know what's better if I just had a robot telling me everything to say. Oh, isn't this so much better than having fun?
Exactly.
You might be right about that. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say that this guy, what's his name again? Jonathan Ross 321. I'm going to guess that he is somehow invested in an AI company. And I'm going to click on his profile. He is the CEO and founder of Grok, GROQ. This is a big AI guy.
There are multiple Groks.
Well, this is GROQ. This is...
I know. That's different than the Twitter one, so that means there are multiple...
This is the Grok that is into Pizzagate. Yeah.
Huh?
GROQ.
What is that?
QAnon.
You've lost me.
I don't know what this Grok is.
Oh,
I was making a joke about the letter Q.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I have a prediction related to drinking as well. I think in the next 10 years, scientists will invent a type of booze that does not cause hangovers, like a synthetic alcohol. There's already a lot of research being done, and I think we'll crack the code in 5 to 10 years.
That's where the money is. That's a good use of science. This needs to have already been a thing like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, because I think they've done research that hangovers cost the U.S. economy like billions of dollars, just because people like are not productive. When they feel like shit.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's cutting into the bottom dollar, man.
I mean, there are days when I've been hungover at work, and you try to do something and you just can't. Yeah, I mean, if you're podcasting, you can podcast hungover, but if you're trying to like write or do anything that's a little more brain intensive.
I'm not very
not that podcasting isn't brain intensive.
I'm not very good at podcasting hungover. In fact, like just the thought of being hungover and having to work gives me such anxiety that makes me not want to drink.
Mm-hmm.
But this needs to happen. You think it's going to happen in the next 5 years?
Yeah, they're doing research right now. Right here it says synthetic alcohol that doesn't cause hangovers or liver damage may be available in 5 years.
Fuck yes.
And that article came out in 2019. Actually, fuck. So it has been 5 years.
It's been 5 years. Where's my hangover-free booze?
They already have a name for it that they're trying to create. It's a synthetic alcohol called Alcarel. Was created by Professor David Nutt, who believes it will change alcohol consumption once it's regulated. So I think right now it might just be working its way through the Food and Drug Administration.
If this guy actually invented hangover-free booze, he needs to get the Nobel Prize.
Where would you put that alongside like air conditioning the internet?
I would say number one.
Really?
I would say number one. Yeah. Hangovers, and Big T, you'll experience this as you get a little bit older. Hangovers, they morph into something awful as you go throughout your 30s.
Mm-hmm.
It gets worse. It gets a lot worse.
You don't have to like get super drunk.
I kind of do.
Okay.
I will say when I went to Tequila, Mexico, I was just guzzling tequila for 2 days, and my hangovers weren't bad because I think it was just really pure tequila.
Yeah, that's true. If you have the better the booze is, usually the less hungover you get.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this would be a game changer.
Yes,
I might be all the way back. If we can get this pushed through the FDA, I think PFT's back.
Where did
Can't
you go?
wait. Al Corral, brought to you by David Nutt.
Thank you, Mr. Nutt, Professor Nutt. Big T, you sent over a story this morning that I'm interested in. The University of Florida students implicated in scheme to ship illegal drugs and toxins to China.
Yeah.
What do you know about it?
They were getting drugs that basically, civilians can't get, but if you're working at a university in a lab and stuff, you can get access to. And it was so it was a bunch of students led by the president of UF's Chinese Studies and Scholars Association, which was, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the name, but a bunch of students, and they were taking them and shipping them to China.
So I see that they were shipping purified drugs, analytical samples of fentanyl. That's good. Fight fire with fire, sending fentanyl to China. Yeah. Fentanyl, morphine, MDMA, cocaine, ketamine, codeine, meth.
Proteins of the cholera toxin and pertussis toxin.
But why were they sending it back to China? Because isn't that where a lot of that's where it's all made?
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, they're reversing the fentanyl flow.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.
No, this is huge.
Reversing the flow. I do have big news. El Corral, it's expected to become available in the U.S. in 2026.
Okay.
So that's the year of PFT's return.
That's when I'm back. I have to survive like a year and a half.
Is that going to taste bad?
Don't care.
Don't care. I mean, current booze does not taste great.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you can create it, I would assume you could create it to be like tasteless, right?
I don't know. It depends on the chemicals they have to use. Like, I will sacrifice 75% of the flavor if it means no hangover.
Yeah.
You could give me every drink could taste like Malort, and I would drink
That's
alcohol.
outrageous.
I also wouldn't want something that just tastes like water or something, because then you could drink so much of it, maybe you would have too much, because I think this stuff still gets you drunk. So like maybe you can still get alcohol, like alcohol poisoning, if you drink too much. So I want it to have a bite.
I wonder if it's going to have that same smell.
Yeah.
Market it like, do you want to booze at work, but you don't want your nosy boss catching up to you? Alcorel. Also, I feel like there's like always a give and take and a balance in nature, where anything that is bad for you has something about it that makes you not want to do it again. So like booze, the hangover kind of educates you and it keeps you moderate, or it keeps a lot of people moderate. Where it's like, I don't want to drink because I don't want to feel bad tomorrow morning.
Yep.
I want to be able to like live my life like a normal person without a hangover. So I'm just not going to drink.
Yes.
I don't want to drink because it's going to cause heart problems. So then they stop drinking as much. Taking away the hangover is a big, big removal of one of those barriers.
I know. Are people just going to be drunk all the time now?
They might. But yeah, Alcorel, reach out to us. I know a podcast that would love to have you as a sponsor, or even just guinea pigs. You can study us.
That's going to be a game changer.
Yeah. So yeah, this group of Chinese students sending drugs back to China, maybe to study it so they can figure out, because it's purified. Maybe they're sending it to China so they can study the chemical breakdown of it and learn how to make better drugs.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it sounds bad, but they might be the first people ever getting drugs out of the state of Florida. So that could be a plus.
That's true. I'm shocked that they got caught. They're like, what? We're not used to looking at the outgoing mail here. What else we got on the sheet today, Big T, that you want to talk about?
Here, there. Did you see the cop who fucked the woman he arrested?
I did see that. Yep.
That's tough.
Yep.
That's very tough.
Have you not seen
I have
this?
not seen this.
So he's driving. They arrest a woman at like a gas station. I forget what for exactly. He puts her in the back of his car. They're driving. She's like, I want to fuck right now. And his body cam is on. And he's like, oh, haha. And she's like, no, I'd fuck you right now. And he's like, all of this is being recorded. And then at one point, his body cam just shuts off. And he, they pull down like an alley.
Because you can see the GPS location from the car.
Yeah, his body cam turns off, and then he called another cop like 20 minutes later and was like, I'm locked in the back seat of my car and can't get out because he got in the back seat and closed the door. And he has been relieved of his duties as a police officer.
And apparently the woman that was arrested did not snitch on him because she's trying to get off these charges too. And so she's playing ball with the cop, not with the investigators.
Could she be charged with something extra? I mean, that's the cop's fault.
Unless it was on camera, her saying like, I'll fuck you if you let me off, then that's like soliciting a bribe.
Sure.
But if she was just like, I will bang you right now in the back seat.
Yeah, I'm
that's
pretty
freedom
sure
of
that's
speech.
Right. And then if the cop does that, like I feel like she could maybe sue.
Yeah.
Like, I would not be shocked if she sued and won something.
But if she put the offer out there, it's
guess,
hard for her
like,
to... If
she could easily say, I rescinded, and I didn't mean that.
I took it back once he got in the back seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if it's her saying, I want to do this, then I don't know if she can get paid for that. But if the cop brought it up the first time, then she definitely has a case.
I mean, people have won more frivolous lawsuits.
Yeah.
Wait, so how did he dime himself out? How did they know that's what happened? If she's not
once
telling,
they saw the body cam footage and the fact that he was locked in the back seat of his own car, it was very clear.
There's something else too. So the cop, he's in the back seat, phone's in backup. The backup arrives. He tells the other cop, I was just having a talk with her. She was being unruly, so I got in the back seat. Dude had cum on his belt.
Oh, that's right. I did forget that important detail.
They saw the cum on his belt, and they're like, you weren't having a talk with her. What is that? You got cum on your belt, buddy.
Dude, you always got to check the belt.
You got to wipe the cum off. If you're in the back seat, locked in the back seat of a car with somebody you just arrested and had sex with, in that order, you need to make sure that you're cumless by the time your backup gets there to let you out. They should teach that in the academy.
Yeah.
So I'm just confused. So
fuck the police.
The police, I'm with that, but the
no,
police,
I meant fuck like
yeah.
fuck with the police.
No, fuck them.
Oh,
yes.
Make love to the police.
Make love to the police.
So the police officer that came and let him out, he was on some like narc shit, saying, "What are you doing?" I don't get me wrong, he did the right thing, but like I would think that cops would like take care of each other in that situation more often than not.
Well, it's on body cam, so like.
Oh, the other cop had a body cam on too. Oh, okay.
Yes,
yeah.
it's all. Yeah, you can go
tough.
watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a rule where if you end up locked in your car, they like your higher ups have to watch the body cam footage, see what happened.
You have to know about it. It's like how cops, if you like fire a single bullet, they count how many bullets you take out, and they count how many bullets you come back with. So they're like, okay, where's this bullet? What happened to this bullet? They're doing that with sperm now.
My sperm.
Looks like you're down 6 million sperm. Where'd they go, sir?
We can see that you had 2 nuts this last shift. Where do those nuts go?
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually on your belt.
It was an unintentional discharge. He should have just said like I came in my pants and because I was so happy with justice.
Yeah.
And I was trying to wipe my belt off and I tripped and I fell into the back seat.
How did he close that door? Obviously, what he did was horribly wrong. But like, if you're gonna do that, you have to know you can't let that door close.
Yes. Wait now.
The heat of the moment.
Here's the question, because you do know that like once those back doors shut,
Did she close it?
Did he realize the door was shut and then had sex anyways, and then was like, okay, now I got to call this in? Like after the door closed, was he like, oh fuck, I'm trapped back here. Well, I'm going to get in trouble anyways, so I might as well have sex.
Once the door has closed and you've turned your body cam off and turned onto a residential street and she said she was going to fuck you, you're completely fucked. No pun intended.
Yeah, you can't get out of that one. But
so you may as well.
The only
Unless,
way,
like, is he going to go to jail for that?
I don't know. The only way to prove that, like, if you get in the back seat, door closes, you're like, oh shit, I was gonna fuck this girl, and then the door locked on me. Now I'm gonna get in trouble. Everyone's gonna think that I fucked her. Could you call it in real quick and be like, hey, get here as soon as possible? And then they come here and they're like, I did not have sex. I'll prove it to you right now. I'll jack off immediately. Did not have sex.
I guess if you did that immediately by the time, like you could tell by the time, I guess, of when he turned the body cam off and shit. If you like 30 seconds later, you're like, fuck, okay, yeah, I was going to have sex with her, but I didn't.
Totally was. Yeah.
And then you just get fired instead of maybe getting arrested.
It probably wouldn't be in the news.
No,
Officer almost has sex is not a story.
you're right. The body cam footage is still pretty crazy, though.
Yeah, officer tried to have sex, thwarted by door. It doesn't have the same...
It doesn't.
It doesn't lead. It doesn't lead the nightly news, but officer has sex with woman in back of car, locks himself in car, gets caught. That is a easy clip.
If it comes, it leads. That's what they teach you in journalism school.
Yeah, exactly. I've got one other thing I want to get into. Donnie, did you have something else?
Yeah. At some point, we need to touch on the North Korean poop balloons.
Oh, let's do that. Let's do that right now. And then I got something I'm fired up about.
Okay. It's pretty much exactly how it sounds. North Korea has been launching poop balloons into South Korea. So South Korea, they do this to North Korea a lot, right? On the border, they blast K-pop constantly because they're like, listen to our music. Like, you guys don't have this shit. And then they send over leaflets a lot about like how much life is better in South Korea, why the North Korean regime is so corrupt, and like how, like, why we should unify and you want your life to be like how it is in South Korea. So to retaliate, North Korea has just started filling bags of shit, tying them to balloons and sending them over the border.
So not even like lit on fire shit. It's just
bags of
just
shit. Poop.
And wherever it lands, now South Korea's got a shit problem to deal with.
Yeah. And I think that's great, because if they were firing rockets, obviously that would be horrible. That would lead to a war where thousands and thousands of people would die. But if you're just using poop balloons, it's like a much safer alternative to warfare, but still extremely disrespectful.
Yeah, still annoying.
Yeah, very annoying. And I feel like sending a poop balloon into someone's yard is like the most disrespectful thing you could do to them besides actually bombing their yard.
Now, is it human poop?
Yeah, I think so.
Is there a guy that's pooping into balloons? Or is he pooping on the ground? Is it a lot of guys?
I think they have some camps where they could probably get people to poop.
You think it's prisoner poop?
I would imagine.
I mean, I don't know for sure if it's human poop. I just jumped to that conclusion.
They don't have like pets in North Korea.
I'm sure they've got like stray dogs and stuff. Probably some people have dogs.
But I mean, that would just be a hilarious thing to do to a friend. Send like a poop balloon floating into their backyard.
Yeah. Oh man, this is fucked up. They're pretty big balloons too.
They said there's a whole bunch of stuff in it. There's like
sometimes it's just like trash.
Yeah, so it's like trash, batteries, stuff like that, and sometimes they have feces in it. And they said that it's the first time they've done it. They used to do it in 2016 as well. There was like, it's like a form of psychological warfare, I guess.
I guess so. I think it's probably a bunch of teenagers in North Korea.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. If you're growing up in North Korea, you want to pull a prank on somebody, launching a poop balloon. That would be a lot of fun, right?
So much fun.
It would be the best. I could actually envision myself doing that just to my neighboring town growing up.
Sending it over the border of your like high school rivals, just launching poop balloons.
There's a big wind blowing from west to east. I'm going to send 3 poop balloons over to Reston.
I don't know. I mean, something I really want to launch.
South Lakes.
I really want to launch
Lakes
a poop
High School.
balloon.
Yeah, it's homecoming week. It's homecoming week for some high school in North Korea, and they're like, okay, we're gonna fuck with our rival.
Send them up.
Now, if it is a military operation, that's very funny too, in a different way. If it's a military operation, it means that there's like guys in suits that are meeting in rooms, talking about the best way to float these poop balloons over.
I mean, poop is pretty dangerous. If you even get like a little bit of poop in your mouth, you can die. I know you ate horse poop once, right?
I did, but that was for hockey.
Yes. And I do think, I have no proof of this, but I feel like horse poop is the cleanest poop out there.
It was mostly hay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was New York horse poop too, which probably not that clean.
No.
But I did get it. I didn't get it off the street. It was in, that little diaper type thing that follows a horse.
Oh, so you got it right out the diaper.
Right from the source. Yeah, right from the source.
How was that?
Do you want me to talk about the flavor?
Just the whole experience.
This is wild. You got lucky. The chemical constituents of horse manure are not toxic to humans. Horse guts do not contain significant levels of the two waterborne pathogens of the greatest concern to human health risk.
There we go.
So you could just shovel horse shit and be perfectly fine.
You'd be healthy as a horse. Yeah, you'd be fine. What happened was when Madeline's Cleveland Cavaliers won the NBA championship, they were so excited on the streets during the parade, and one guy just ran out and he was just so pumped up. He was like, "I'm going to eat this horse poop," because they had like horses in the parade. He just grabbed a big thing of horse poop and just put it in his mouth. And so we were like, this rocks. This is the way to celebrate a championship. And then a little bit later, I think it was a year later, maybe a year and a half, the Capitals were in the playoffs, and I was like, I would be so happy if the Capitals won. I would eat horse poop, just like the guy in Cleveland did. And then Hank was like, "Wait, what was that? What'd you just say?" I was like, "I would eat horse poop." He's like, "Would you eat horse poop to get you to the Stanley Cup?" And I was like, "Yeah, if it meant that we get to the Stanley Cup Finals, I would 100% eat horse poop."
Oh, that's wild.
And so in the playoffs, I think we were about to play the Penguins. Might have even been during the Penguin series. I went to Central Park, got a little nugget of horse poop, put it in, chomped down on it, and then immediately threw up. But Hank was with me as a witness. He saw it go.
So you did this before they even got to the final?
I think so. I think I did.
That's outrageous.
I need to go back and look at the timeline.
Did you swallow it?
No, immediately threw it up.
That's fucking gross, bro.
Yeah, it was very gross. It was nasty.
I'm gonna throw up just thinking about it.
He's a man of his word. There's a lot of people who make bets and don't follow through.
Not my finest moment, but I did do it, and I'm glad that I did because we won the Stanley Cup.
I'm trying to think if I would do that for a national title.
Tennessee national
How
championship.
about this? Would you drink piss for a national title? Because like piss
Absolutely.
is... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, football for
But
sure.
not your own piss, like maybe like horse piss, but just like
That's fine.
a sip.
Piss long before poop.
Yeah, because it's very sterile. Like it's perfectly healthy to drink piss.
And like you would throw up, but you could just like down it real quick.
Yeah,
as opposed to a literal piece of shit.
A shot of piss for a national title.
What about, would you rather drink Mincy's piss fresh off a big weekend? I'm talking about like a crazy wild Mincy's piss off a wild weekend. You have to have 8 ounces of it.
You can say whatever you want
ounces?
next, and it's that.
Or a little like a pebble-sized turd of your own.
Oh, my own for sure.
Eat your own ship before
Listen,
mince piss?
I'll go down with my own ship. I can live if I make a mistake. That's fine. I will eat my own shit long before I would drink Mincy's piss.
Yo, how often do white dudes have this conversation?
This is the first for me.
Yeah, no, this is the first.
I've had this once or twice.
Bro, because I used to go into, I think I've said this on the podcast before, I used to go in the locker room, bro, and I'd be like, "Arian, yo, bro, okay, would you rather drink a gallon of horse cum or be banged in the ass?" But I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about, bro? And it was like all the time dudes would do this shit, dog. It was like the wildest scenarios, eating the weirdest shit.
Yeah, fuck them for trying to include you, right? Fuck their friendship, I guess.
That's weird as fuck, bro. To walk into work and be like, "Hey, would you rather eat horse balls or bull nut?" And it's just like, bro, what are y'all doing? It's
y'all
weird,
got a
bro.
lot of time to pass.
How about shrooms or piss? Would you rather drink piss or eat a full eighth of shrooms?
I don't know.
That should not be a hard
Right.
decision. Come on.
Shrooms change your life, bro.
Would you eat 2 full mushrooms? So enough to give you like a pretty decent
I mean, I
experience.
have no frame of reference for how much that is, but
If Tennessee wins the national championship, 2 mushrooms.
yeah, I guess.
Yes. Okay. All right. I am now the biggest Tennessee football fan on planet
Yeah,
Earth.
football.
Yeah.
Baseball, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Basketball, I'd take a little hit.
Okay, I'm pulling for. I'm a Leva. Is that how you say his name?
So wait, are you
Nico.
saying if Tennessee wins the national championship, you are going to do 2 shrooms?
2 shrooms. That'd be like
if y'all aren't trying to fuck me, an amount that is reasonable.
That's reasonable.
yeah.
It's not a hero dose or anything.
I think that would just
you'll
be
feel
like
it, but
2
you're not
grams.
Like, what are the what are the side effects?
It would be the perfect amount, and it would not. You'd be fine.
The side effects would be you may become liberal after.
if that's the concern, that won't happen. So that's
no. So
fine.
there's literally been no overdoses on psychedelics.
That just can't be true. That's just
Look it
not
up.
true.
Dude, psilocybin has never killed anybody, bro. Look at it.
So by overdose, like if you have a fuckload of LSD, you can definitely alter your brain. That's if you have a ton of it. But if you have 2 mushrooms, then the side effects are going to be you're going to have a great time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't die from it, bro.
I googled overdoses on psychedelics. It came up with help is available. Speak with someone today.
Are you a Tennessee football fan?
Yeah, that it should come up when you Google Tennessee football schedule.
Yeah.
But for a football national title, I'd do almost anything.
Would you become liberal? Would you turn full lib? I'm talking about the most annoying lib. I'm talking Rachel Maddow lib.
Okay, well, am I just espousing this shit publicly, but I don't actually believe it, or I have to believe it?
I don't think you have to believe it, but you have to live it. So every time Matt Olson hits a home run, you have to be like, that was a great home run, but I really wish that he was trans BIPOC.
Well, this season we don't have to worry about that too much, but for one, get 2 in 4 years, I think I'd do that.
2, okay.
Because then you had a run.
Yeah, but then you know what you're gonna have to do as a liberal. You're gonna have to start digging into the problematic history of Tennessee football after you've won those championships.
That's fine.
Okay, but you still get to experience the championships.
Yeah. No,
you get to experience the championships as a conservative.
Okay.
But then starting at the parade of the second one, you have to be like, this is such a waste of taxpayer money. I wish that we were funneling this to libraries instead.
But that would be so worth it just for those 2 years where they've already won a title. Now you've got, let's say 2 years later, they're going to win the second one. And you're just basking in that euphoria. Then you get another one.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, okay, yeah, from here on out, do whatever you want.
Okay. All right. I hope that happens. Although you did not commit to that. You said you hypothetically would. You said that you would, in fact, eat 2 mushrooms for a national championship.
If Tennessee wins a football national championship.
Such a glorious time.
Back to these balloons. Do you think that it's gonna start like an arms race with more shit? Are they gonna get bigger?
I mean, we have balloon technology to carry a fucking truckload of poo.
Yeah. Are they gonna start sending up airplanes to shoot down the balloons like we did with the Chinese one? Are you allowed, if you're South Korea, are you allowed to shoot these balloons down with rockets?
Yeah, you just want to be careful of where it's gonna land.
The rockets have shit in them.
If you just shoot a balloon with a rocket, I feel like that would cause more problems than it would solve.
Yeah.
You have to fight poop with poop.
Agreed.
You can't fight poop with rockets. Or maybe should they fight poop with piss and just be dropping buckets of piss?
Buckets of piss. If you had like napalm, but piss, just like bombs that were filled with pressurized pee.
Yeah.
And they hit and just pee goes everywhere.
The great poop and piss war of 2024.
Yeah. I mean, this is how World War III starts.
Yep.
I didn't know that it was illegal to visit North Korea.
I mean, people have.
Yeah,
but
you can.
No, not that you can't anymore. I just looked it up.
Yeah, I think while Trump was president,
in
it was made
2023,
illegal.
U.S. Department has issued a level 4 do not travel advisory for North Korea, making it illegal for U.S. citizens to travel there with a U.S. passport.
Yeah, and I think that rule was put in place after Otto Warmbier was locked up for stealing a poster off his hotel wall. And then he was they assigned him 20 years of hard labor. And then
Damn.
after a year, they returned him to the U.S., but he was in a coma and then died a few days later.
Holy shit. Yeah, if you traveling, do not do anything wrong. Like, you have no idea. Like, there's no way I would do anything close to illegal in another country.
Yeah.
Well,
Turks and
especially
Caicos.
North Korea. I mean, North Korea is its own.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't stop PFT from doing illegal activities in Hong Kong.
Quiet.
Yeah.
And Qatar.
Quiet.
Y'all are crazy.
Double
for that.
quiet. Double quiet.
I do have a take.
My only crime in Qatar was respecting the brilliance of the Emir too much.
And I don't know if this
I
is
can confirm.
I don't know if this take is even suitable. This might be too much. Otto Warmbier did not deserve what happened to him. Obviously, that is horrific. He did fuck up. I mean, you have to be I don't want to speak ill of the dead. What he did was remarkably stupid.
Yeah, although I can see myself in a world where I'm in a country like that and I've had a couple drinks and I take a poster, I'm like, oh, I'm going to take this home.
I would call you remarkably stupid if you can see yourself doing that.
No.
I wouldn't be shocked if his like frat back in the U.S. was like, you have to bring us back a souvenir from North Korea. And so then on his last day, he was like, oh, this poster on the wall looks sick. But I think you can probably just buy a souvenir somewhere there. Yeah.
In the airport?
A crazy thing is I met Otto Warmbier's best friend at a bar here in Chicago. And we've hung out twice now. He's a nice guy.
They'll send
never
Dennis
heard of this
Rodman over
before.
to you.
There's
Dennis
a
Rodman
whole-
negotiating the release was wild.
Yeah.
What's up with that dude, Bill Richardson? He used to be the governor of New Mexico.
New Mexico, yeah.
I think he was libertarian, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And he's kind of become the chief negotiator recently. Like anytime somebody, an American citizen, gets in trouble overseas, it's like Bill Richardson is going to talk. Is he just like a great talker? Is he a practiced negotiator? What's his deal? What's his skill set?
Yeah, I wonder, how do you get that job?
I'm really good at negotiating with dictators.
Was he Gary Johnson's vice presidential candidate?
I might be mixing up Gary Johnson with Bill Richardson. I don't know if Bill Richardson was a libertarian or not. Maybe we can look that up.
I think he was running with Gary Johnson.
Okay, he was the governor of New Mexico for a while. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. So here it says how Bill Richardson found his most important calling. And I think it talks about how he got into it.
Actually, I have a note about Bill Richardson for later when we're talking about coups. He played a part in
Yeah, he had a mix of powerful connections and down-to-earth affability that was on constant display, especially in hostage diplomacy.
Did he do Brittany Griner? Because we lost that trade.
know.
Bill Weld was Gary Johnson's running mate, not Bill Richardson.
Yeah, it says he helped secure Brittany Griner's release.
Could have gotten more in return.
Yeah, I think it's just his passion. He's like, I'm pretty good at this. People like me, and like I love helping families that like have a member abroad.
Yeah, I think that the big mistake with the Brittany Griner thing is he did not realize what the other person's nickname was when he made that trade.
Have we heard from the Merchant of Death recently? Is he merchanting?
I don't know.
Still,
I
or-
have to imagine he's involved with something going on in Russia. Does Russia need weapons right now?
I would imagine so.
So he's probably in the mix, probably doing some stuff. But if Bill Richardson had known that this guy's name was the Merchant of Death, he probably would have been like, hey, can we also get that journalist too with Brittany? We'll do a 2-for-1 deal.
And there's a Marine still in Russia, right? Like in Russian prison.
I think there's a Marine there. I know that there's a Wall Street journalist that's still over, or Wall Street Journal journalists that's still over there. And they're basically just like giant pawns right now that Putin's using. Putin doesn't like coups.
No,
Does not like them at all.
Does any leader? Generally not if you're the one being cooed upon.
There are a couple coups where I could see myself as that leader and be like, yeah, you know what? House arrest, not so bad. If that's what, like, let somebody else can take over the country, deal with all the complaints. if you just lock me in my mansion for the rest of my life, I'm cool with that. I had a good run.
Yeah.
House arrest honestly sounds fun. Let's see. Anything else we want to get into before I go off my little tangent here?
You see that? Speaking of the libertarians, did you see Trump go to the Libertarian convention? He got hella booed.
Yeah, they booed the fuck out of him.
And then he said, fine, just keep getting 3%. He's so funny.
Yeah.
He really is, dog. I hate that he is.
He's hysterical.
Oh, he did bring this up. The guy that is in jail, Ross Ulbricht, the guy that started the Silk Road.
Yeah.
Remember, we did an entire episode on him. I think, did we become free Ross guys? Or Ross?
I think y'all did. I'm very skeptical of this movement.
So Trump said that he would free him if he got elected, which you have to be skeptical about because he had 4 years to do it, and he didn't do it when he was president. Now he's saying, if you elect me, then I'll do it. But a lot of people are in favor of this. The guy, Ulbricht, he was locked up for drug trafficking. He was locked up for solicitation of murder. And there was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff in the chat logs that came out that showed that I think it was FBI, kind of goaded him into a lot of these things. I think that the drug trafficking charges are not... I don't think those were the strongest charges. I think being like, this guy tried to kill people, that to me would earn you a big lifetime sentence like that. The drug trafficking charges, where he did not actually partake in the drug trafficking, he just had a website that did it. I feel like that is a real dicey application of that law, and he probably should not be charged on those grounds. But yeah, Trump's saying he's going to get him off, being like, this guy's not a threat to reoffend, which he might be right about. But I also think that Trump just said that so that he would have people applaud for him at that Libertarian convention.
Yeah,
good choice. He's a good politician. But yeah, I was right. I want you guys to know that. This fucking stingray down in Hendersonville, North Carolina, Charlotte, has still not given birth. And they first posted about it. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's an aquarium in Hendersonville, North Carolina. And they announced that their precious prize stingray, Charlotte, was pregnant back in February of this year. I believe it was February 6th was the first post that they put up about this fucking stingray. They didn't post a lot before that online. They were like your average aquarium. They'd post maybe once or twice a month. Not very active on social media. They posted about this stingray, Charlotte, and they said, we have some surprise news. Our stingray is pregnant. And what's crazy is there were no other stingrays in her tank with her. Only sharks, only male sharks. So then people were like, oh, is this going to be a crazy shark stingray baby? Or is this going to be the Jesus ray that is Immaculate Conception?
The Jesus ray.
And so people were enthralled with this news. And then time goes by. They start posting more and more frequently updates about Charlotte because Charlotte was getting a lot of traction in the media. It was a big national story. So they start posting about her constantly. They posted a fucking Amazon wish list for her baby shower. So people were like buying the stingray presents because it was going to give birth either to shark stingray babies or the Jesus ray.
Weekend in county jail if you buy something for the stingray's baby shower.
Agreed. You might be a real freak if you're doing that.
Yeah.
Either someone with way too much time on your hands or an absolute freak.
48 hours in jail.
So I agree. I think more than that, actually. So this aquarium kept posting updates about it. They would admonish people who simply ask questions on their Facebook page. People who were like, when is the stingray going to give birth? Or, well, scientifically, it can't be shark stingray babies because that's impossible to happen. All these scientists would weigh in and be like, yeah, that doesn't happen. It can't happen in biology. It's like saying you're going to have a cat and a dog have a baby together and have a little puppy kitten. Not going to happen.
MSNB stingray.
That's what they're saying.
No questioning allowed.
That's what they're saying. So people that would even scientists, like legit scientists that would reply to their Facebook post being like, hey, this is kind of misinformation. We don't want to mislead the public. It can't be a shark stingray pup. Please correct all the information you put out there. They would like get mad at those people and they'd have posts of their own saying like, please don't use our official Facebook page to question us or to talk back to us about anything. So they would block people from commenting. They shut down the comments on some of their posts because too many people were like asking what's going on with this stingray. Is it still pregnant? So they posted ultrasounds and shit. And then there's a reporter from the Assembly NC that went to the aquarium to see Charlotte and then talk to some of the guests there. So this reporter goes there. I think this was last week. They show up. They go in on their own, take a couple pictures. Then they go outside and they talk to a couple that's on their way inside. Not inside yet, but on the outside of the aquarium, on their way in. They're like, hey, do you mind answering a couple questions for the news? The questions were like, are you excited about Charlotte the Stingray? What brought you here? Where'd you first hear about Charlotte? And then the cops show up. And the cops go up to this reporter outside and they're like, hey, what are you doing here? We got a call from the aquarium saying that you were harassing people. And they're like, no, I talked to one person and I asked them like softball questions. They were very excited about the Stingray. And they're like, yeah, well, we got a call from somebody inside and they're saying that they're going to have you arrested if you go back in. So this Stingray has now, it's become like the central focus of this aquarium. Still hasn't given birth. The Stingray gestation period has long since passed. I don't know if this Stingray was ever even pregnant to begin with.
Damn.
I think what happened was maybe they got a new social person. They're like, oh, you know what people get fired up about? If you post about one of your animals being pregnant, people get invested in that. They want to have like a live cam on the animal. They want to be like, oh, it's pregnant. It got national news. It blew up. It was on the Today Show. It was everywhere. Then they got addicted to all the likes and the new traction they were getting on social media when they would post an update about this thing. And now they're like, fuck, what do we do? The Stingray was never pregnant in the first place.
Holy shit.
Maybe she was faking it. She might have been faking the pregnancy.
But
for
now
attention.
it's a miraculous unpregnancy.
Yeah, the opposite of Jesus. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God this Stingray isn't pregnant anymore. We can't afford to bring new pups into this life. The Stingray didn't have a job.
True.
It would be able to provide for its pups. So yeah, it stinks to high heaven. I don't think the Stingray was pregnant. And if it was pregnant, they really leaned into some false information. But now the fact that they're like threatening to have reporters arrested for reporting on the Stingray, give me a break.
Are they still claiming that the Stingray is pregnant and will be giving birth shortly?
The last update was about 2.5 weeks ago, and they said, update, the Stingray's still pregnant.
Okay. Now, with stingrays, is asexual reproduction possible?
I think it could be in theory. In theory, it could.
I think I had a turtle that laid eggs, and it was just a female turtle with no male turtle in there.
But no baby turtles came out of the eggs.
Yeah, I don't think the eggs hatched.
So they were like non-fertilized eggs, but it wanted to feel like it had a job, and it was like, oh, look, I'm a mom.
Like a chicken, yeah.
Yeah.
Because chickens lay eggs regardless of whether or not they're getting dicked down.
Yep.
How long has this... Like, when did they first report that the Stingray was pregnant?
February 6th, and it was already pregnant enough to have ultrasounds and the whole 9 yards.
Oh, they capping?
Yeah.
Look, they're only pregnant for like 3 to 4 months.
Yep. They were selling merch for the Stingray. They were making a lot of money off the Stingray.
I would go to jail for this Stingray, sort of like how Dave went to jail protesting at the NFL offices. Like, I feel like we should all go down and just handcuff each other.
The Stingray.
Where are the babies?
The victim in this is the Stingray.
Yeah.
I don't think that Charlotte is doing this for the attention. I think that the aquarium is cashed in big time on the fortunes, and it's probably been a very funny predicament they found themselves in, where it's like, we have this fun initiative. Yeah, we're going to lie. But, it should get more people to go out and see the fish that we have. And then, a month goes by, 2 months go by, and now it's the biggest thing they've ever done, and the eyes of the world are upon them. You've got TikTokers doing like deep dives into how cute it is that Charlotte's going to have these little pups. And then they're like, oh, fuck, we've really gotten in way, way too deep on this one.
Hendersonville, North Carolina, 2.5 hours from Knoxville. You want to go to the UT's regional this weekend, and then we'll go see the Stingray?
Check out Charlotte?
Yeah.
I do want to go
immediately get arrested?
Yes, I do want to go to Hendersonville. I do. I want to get to the bottom of what's going on here. Yeah, they were posting about what she ate for dinner that night. Oh, here's her pregnancy meal that she's having tonight. Isn't that cute? The Stingray's never been pregnant. The Stingray, it stinks. It stinks.
They've admitted this.
I've got all the documents. I've researched this fucking stingray because I could tell something didn't smell right. I can tell when a stingray's pregnant.
You've got the windy. Now, why would they do that?
Yeah, exactly. So if you live in the Hendersonville area and you want to go to the aquarium and give me an update on how Charlotte's doing, be careful. Don't get arrested. I would appreciate just an update. Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground for the stingray. So we're going to get into coups in a second here. Before we do, brought to you by our very good friends over at Bespoke Post. This spring, the best box that you'll ever open up is from Bespoke Post and their new seasonal lineup of must-have Box of Awesome collections. The Box of Awesome is filled with carefully chosen gear from the best small brands around the world. Whether you want to drink and eat more awesome, dress and travel more awesome, or explore more awesome, Box of Awesome has you covered this spring. To get started, take the quiz at boxofawesome.com. Your answers will help them pick the right Box of Awesome for you. It's free to join. They release new items every month across a ton of different categories. Plus, with each Box of Awesome, you're supporting small business. 90% of everything that comes in your Box of Awesome is from a small, up-and-coming brand. It's free to sign up. You can skip a month or cancel anytime you want. Get a free mystery gift with your first monthly shipment when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and use code DOSE at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code DOSE. Get a free mystery gift with your first monthly shipment. Boxofawesome.com, promo code DOSE. Might be a good Father's Day present too. Check that out. Boxofawesome.com, promo code DOSE. All right, let's talk coups. Coups. There's been one in the news recently. Pretty interesting one. Actually, in the last, I'd say 4 years, there have been 2 coups that Americans have somehow found themselves in the middle of overseas. And I don't know what's going on with that, where they think they have like government support, or they tell people they have government support, then they end up there, they get in trouble, and then now all of a sudden the government's like, we had nothing to do with this, which is what the government would definitely say if they did have something to do with it.
Are you talking about the one like that recently happened in the Congo and there was like 3 Americans that were involved?
Yeah, that's the one in the DRC. And then there was one in Venezuela, I believe, in 2020.
Yeah.
In the one in Venezuela, they were trying to overthrow the government, which is a dictatorship.
Chavez?
I don't know if it was,
I forget his name, or it might be the guy after him.
I think it was the guy after him. And they did an election. The person that was not the socialist dictator allegedly won the election, depending on who you ask. The dictator stayed in power. The U.S. recognized the other guy as being the official head of government. And then a couple dudes went down there, and they were former military guys that were now contractors doing private work. And they were essentially mercenaries that then tried to overthrow the government, got in trouble, and then our leadership was like, we have no idea what these guys were doing down there. Not our problem. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I know the U.S. used to be involved in a ton of coups, like in Central and South America.
Yep.
These days, I don't know if we do it so blatantly or if we're still in the coup business.
I think we're still in the coup business. Okay. Now, in the 80s, it was a much bigger deal because it was like a lot of Cold War stuff.
Yeah.
Where if it was any government that was elected that was somewhat sympathetic to the USSR, we'd be like, we have to install our own government down there. Or this person, there's too many like labor strikes going on right now at the fruit companies, so we're going to send our people in there, prop up the opposition, and have them win, so it's not even socialist leaning whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So they would they would dip their toes in Central America, South America, the Caribbean too. But yeah, I think they're still up to it. I think that's not something that you don't quit coups cold turkey.
No, actually, one of our states was brought into the U.S. via coup.
Which one was that?
Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Queen.
It was kind of like there was a lot of really wealthy American plantation owners there, and they started to get more and more power, and they were just like, it would really be sick if Hawaii was just part of the U.S., and they staged a coup. I think it was bloodless, but like the Queen was not happy about it.
Yeah, the real Hawaiian people, they do not like being part of America.
Yes.
They still very much say, like, we are Hawaii. Also, shout out to the Hawaiian flag, not the one that is the state flag, the one that they fly over there. It's a great flag. It's
The
way
greatest
better.
flag of all time.
Way better than the one that we assigned to them.
Greatest flag of all time. Not even close, really.
But yeah, Donnie, it's a recurring theme that a lot of the coups that the United States has been involved in, a lot of them have to do with the fact that there's big businesses in the United States that are not happy with what's happening in these countries. And these big businesses make the CIA and the government go in and stage the coup.
Yep.
So it's not like all politics. Sure, some of it has to do with the Cold War, but a lot of it is like they're not giving us the good prices on these exports that they used to, and it's really damaging our massive international conglomerate. So we need you to go in there and fix this for us. And then the government kind of does that on behalf of the private companies, like in Hawaii.
Yeah. And then I think like after the coup, the U.S. just wrote a letter to Hawaii saying like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, my bad. You're still
sorry for the coup. But yeah, I think you're going to enjoy being part of America.
Yeah, sorry about that coup. It's cool if we put a giant naval base here though, right?
Oh, no. I think in 1993, President Clinton, he apologized to Hawaii officially for the coup.
Sorry.
So I think it took us a while.
Was Hawaii like, okay, no problem? I don't even remember that. That's water. Come on, that's so far in our past.
Good guy Clinton, finally setting things right with Hawaii.
Yeah, you want to talk about the coup in the DRC?
Yeah. I was reading something that it seemed like those dudes from the U.S. kind of got tricked into it. They were like, we accepted this contracting job. And then when we showed up, it was clear like the job was completely different than what we were told. We'll see.
Yeah, so it's it involves a couple guys from the United States. So there's Marcel Malanga. He's a 21-year-old son of the coup leader, who is Christian Malanga. Marcel Malanga is friends with a guy named Tyler Thompson, who's a high school football teammate of his. They're from West Jordan, Utah. And
that's crazy. I thought he was from the Congo with that name.
Marcel Malanga?
No.
Oh, Tyler Thompson?
Tyler Thompson.
Yeah, Tyler Thompson, good football player name, right?
Yeah, linebacker.
Yep. Maybe, yeah. Tyler Thompson, linebacker, maybe like third down running back.
White or black?
I think either way.
I'm envisioning a white linebacker.
Okay, Tyler Thompson. Yeah, that is a good name for a white linebacker for sure. Will Compton, terrible name for a white linebacker.
Could never make it.
No.
Nobody named Will Compton. That's not a football player name.
So Marcel and his son Christian and his son Marcel were detained by Tyler Thompson. Christian Malanga was the leader of the coup, and he was actually killed in the shootout as they were being detained. The Congolese government killed the dad. So I guess we can back it up a little bit. It was May 19th, and the army of the DRC stopped this coup attempt. And there were 3 American citizens and 1 British citizen, and the opposition leader and coup organizer, Christian Malanga, got killed. So 6 people were killed in this coup attempt. Dozens got arrested. It was an attack on the presidential palace, and there was another attack on the residence of a close ally of the current president, whose name is Felix Tshisekedi. We'll just call him Tshisekedi. Felix Tshisekedi. So in the coup, there were 20 dudes trying to force their way into the government complex in the capital city of Kinshasa. The group flew the flag of the DRC's former dictator, Mobutu Sese Seko. And that dude, if you know anything about Mobutu, that was a bad dude. That was back when dictators were dictators. I like my dictator to have like the hat and the heavy metals on his chest, the ribbons, like the dude from Libya, Gaddafi.
Oh yeah.
I want a dictator looking like that. I don't want just a dictator in a suit. But Mobutu Sese Seko was a bad guy. So they were flying his flag, and they were chanting "New Zaire." Zaire is the name of the country under the rule of Joseph Desire Mobutu from 1971 until 1997. Mobutu is infamous. He privatized, plundered the nation's resources. Inflation shot up. There were currency devaluations, total collapse of infrastructure, embezzlement, and nepotism. Oh no, nepotism in politics? Oh no. He helped depose and assassinate Patrice Lumumba at the behest of Belgium, the U.S., and other Western powers in 1961. So if you go back to 1961, this dude, Patrice Lumumba, was the leader. He got arrested. He was put in prison, and then he was brought back, and they just put him up against a tree and shot him. The CIA, by the way, had a lot to do with that. It was Belgium, so Belgium wanted this guy dead. And the CIA was like, you know what? We kind of agree with Belgium. We'll help you kill him. So what Belgium did was, or what the CIA did, they stockpiled a bunch of poisons. Mm-hmm. So the CIA was told to get rid of all their like biological weapons and all this shit, I think in the 50s. And they secretly kept them. One guy kept a stash just in case we need to assassinate somebody. I'm going to keep a stash of shellfish toxin and cobra venom. So if we need to inject somebody or put some cobra venom into somebody's drink, we have a supply here. It's like when they banned the original Four Locos. Yeah, dudes running out and just being like, I still want to party, so we'll just keep these in the back room. Yep. That's what the CIA did with cobra venom. And we were going to put it on a handkerchief and have this guy served with this handkerchief that had cobra venom or the shellfish toxin that he would then inhale and die. We called that off at the last second, but we still helped Belgium take this guy, Patrice Lumumba, out in 1961. So after Lumumba, there was a guy named Mobutu, and there was another guy named Mobutu as well. But they were all kind of on the same side. So this new guy, Felix Tshisekedi, he is in opposition. He took over, and now the old Mobutu stands are like, fuck this new guy. We want our old guy back. So on May 19th, Christian Malanga live streamed video on social media from inside the palace. What's up with people committing crimes and doing it on a live stream?
It's Generation Z. I think that's just like the cool thing to do.
Did you see the guy in court today who was in court for a suspended license and he joined his Zoom hearing while driving?
Oh, that's awesome.
No, he rocks.
That's awesome.
He literally joins the Zoom and he's like, hey, hold on, I'm parking real quick. And the judge goes, you're here for a suspended license, right? He goes, yeah, just let me park real quick.
And he's committing another
it's
crime.
One of my favorite videos I've ever seen.
Oh,
it's pretty hilarious though.
That's so good. Good for that guy.
No, he rocks.
He needs to be freed.
Agreed. You have to do that on purpose, right?
You gotta see his face though, when the judge is like, "You're in here for a suspended license, and you were just driving." His face is just so funny, dog. It's just like, yeah, you caught me.
No, it's a Zoom background. I thought it'd be funny. It's a good joke. I really had you going, Judge.
Zoom Court has produced some unbelievable videos. Do you remember Buttfucker 3000?
Yeah.
That was awesome. The lawyer who couldn't get the cat filter off.
Yeah, it's like when you go to, you used to have to get dressed up to go to court. Now you can just do it from, it's like flying in an airplane. People used to take pride in going to court and looking good. Now it's like, okay, you don't even have to have pants on to go to court anymore.
I love how Tyler Thompson's parents said, like, we have no idea how he got wrapped up in this in this situation, which is completely out of character for him.
He's never tried to stage a coup at home.
Yeah, he's a high school football player in Utah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure coups in Africa aren't part of his character.
So what happened was this dude, Christian Malanga, he was live streaming on social media. He was inside the palace. He had his son next to him, Marcel. And Marcel was like, oh, shit, Dad, you're on live stream? And then he put a mask on over his face to protect his identity. His dad kind of fucked him over a little bit on this one. But so Christian Malanga was trying to build a new Zaire with further privatization and further accumulation of Congolese wealth by foreign investors. So Christian Malanga was into foreign money coming in, making money for people on the outside. The United Congolese Party, that's the party that Malanga led, is pro-Western, right-wing. It's lobbied Congress to support its aims. So they're like a force in the United States to a certain extent. Like they're not underground. It's like, it would be good for the United States if we did something about this government over there and get our guys back in place. So he's tried to get people to invest in his movement to overthrow the government of the DRC. He is from he settled in Salt Lake City. He's originally from the Congo, but he made money in the 90s. He was gold mining. He was doing used car sales. I didn't know that gold mining was still profitable in the United States.
I've heard that you can like buy old gold mines in the US, and then as long as you can like fund the mining of it, like all of it's yours.
There's some stuff that was left behind maybe.
Yeah. Like I think you can still find stuff. I follow a guy on TikTok who just like mines gold all day.
Does he ever find anything?
Yeah, he does. He goes to rivers, I think, and like mines the riverbeds. He's got this like sifter machine.
That's cool. Does he do the panning stuff too?
Yeah, it's kind of like this automatic electronic panner.
That'd be such a rush to find just a big nugget of gold.
Where does he do that?
Virginia, maybe?
Yeah, I know in North Georgia people do that.
Really?
Like Dahlonega, yeah.
And so like in his vids, he's normally not finding big chunks of gold, but he finds enough scraps of gold that he could make some money off of it.
I went magnet fishing on Friday for the first time.
Did you find a gun?
I did not find a gun yet, but I'm going to continue until I do.
What is magnet fishing?
So I have this, I think it's a 350-pound magnet. That's not how much it weighs, but that's like the strength of the attraction properties of the magnet, okay. I think. And so my buddy Pat from Hard Factor, the Beeve, he bought me this magnet a while ago, and he's got one too. And so you just take that, it's attached to a big rope, and then you throw it into a river, and then it goes to the bottom of the river, and it pulls up anything metal that's on the bottom. So you can apparently find guns and jewelry and all sorts of stuff. If you find a gun, you have to call the cops.
I'd say that wouldn't be smart. But you, what have you found? You found anything cool?
I found a fish hook. I found 2 screws. Okay. One might have been a nail. But
Nice, man.
I think I found 2 screws. But those nails and screws might have been used to commit a crime. I don't know. I put them in my cooler and packed it up and took it home like they were fish. But I'm going to keep going. I think Jerry's going to come out and do some magnet fishing at some point. But yeah, it looks like I've seen a lot of TikTok videos of people going magnet fishing and they pull up these cool things from the bottom. It looks like a lot of fun when you do find something.
Yeah. No, I've seen people in Chicago finding guns and stuff.
Yeah. That's the dream.
Where was the bridge where you did it?
It was like on the South Loop.
Okay. Because
So
I think
southern part of downtown.
I think maybe if you go a little bit further outside of the city, you're more likely to find a gun or like a body wrapped in chains.
Yeah. Yeah. I was super excited about this one bridge though. It felt like if I was going to throw a gun away, it felt like a bridge that I would throw it off.
Yeah.
But it was our first time, so I'm sure that, our technique wasn't that great. But it was still fun just to get out there and just hang out for like 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, that's what fishing's all about. A lot of the times you don't catch fish, but you still have a good time.
Yeah. I was thinking that if I was a criminal and I was driving past that bridge and I saw somebody magnet fishing right off that bridge and I had thrown a gun out there, I would just go kill that person. I'd be like, I can't have them finding my gun.
And then just throw that person over the bridge too?
Now you got another gun to throw in with that person, yeah. But I'm going to find a gun. I will find a gun. And then that's going to be such a rush. I'm going to just keep trying to find more guns.
Yeah. I have hope. I have high hopes for you.
So you're just trying to find, like, you're literally really trying to find guns?
No, I'm trying to find anything that's magnet. It's just fun throwing something in the water and then you pull it up and it's got something that was under the water on it.
Is there any places that you're not allowed to do it? Like, is there any like regulations?
I think you're supposed to try to stay away from like utility areas. If there's like an underwater gas line, you don't want to get the magnet cut on that and then you pull it up too hard and the gas line ruptures. Probably don't want to do that.
No.
But if you've been magnet fishing, let me know because I need some tips.
I wonder if you went out in the lake because there's a lot of shipwrecks in the lake not too far from Chicago.
Yeah.
Like it'd be cool to see what type of metal they still have in those.
Yeah, that would rock. Actually, there's probably some propellers in the rivers around Chicago, like boat propellers that get knocked off on rocks.
Yep.
But yeah, that'd be fun. I don't know how long my cord is, if it would be able to reach down to the bottom of the lake. But it's fun. I highly recommend it. But this dude, Christian Malanga,
That's the father, right?
That's the father.
Yep.
The dad came to the U.S. in the 1990s. He was a gold miner. He did used car sales, and then he moved back to Congo to fight for those political reforms. And then Marcel, his son, was convinced to like go hang out with dad, see what dad's doing.
Yeah, and so it seems like the other people there too, like Tyler Thompson, that his son just invited his football teammates to the Congo. And I guess like he said it was a family vacation. Some of the other people invited said they were told it was a service trip. They were going to go to the Congo and build wells.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I could see that happening. That'd be very cool. If I played football in high school with a kid from the Congo, he like invited me back to his home country, I would consider going.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like, okay, like I wouldn't go there alone, but I'm going to be with a local. He'll like know how to keep me safe. And then you show up and he gets you wrapped up in a coup.
It's the ultimate record scratch. You're probably wondering how I got here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to overthrow the Congolese government.
Yeah.
Well, I was a linebacker, and the backup quarterback was going to Congo for a summer, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go along. Next thing you know, I'm storming a palace with a machine gun.
This could be a good buddy comedy.
I know like Roan had a friend
it would be.
in college from Ethiopia, and like he invited him to Ethiopia, and they all went, had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
There's no cooing going on.
Yeah, there was no cooing. That is wild. So these are like young kids.
Yeah, there was another guy, another American, Benjamin Ruben Zalman Poland. He's a weed dealer, and so he was connected to Christian through the Mozambique gold mining company, and somehow Christian convinced him to take part in this too. But basically, Christian is like the world's worst dad. He got his son involved. Like, this is the ultimate worst nightmare. Imagine being the parents of Tyler, and then you find out, like, you think that, okay, Tyler's doing some charitable work overseas, and next thing you know, he's probably going to be sentenced to death by the Congolese government. Sounds like a Warren Zevon song. So apparently Daniel Gonzalez, he was a former teammate of the two kids that went over there. He told the AP that Marcel, that's the son, Marcel offered him $50,000 to $100,000 to spend 4 months in Congo as a security guard for his dad. So that tells me that maybe Marcel, the son, knew a little bit more about what was going on. If he's trying to like pay his friends, like $75,000 to hang out with his dad for 4 months.
Was that guy a member of the high school football team too?
Yes.
Okay. Because if they're that age and someone offers you 50 to 100K, it's pretty enticing.
It is. Also, I want to give a shout out to the coach, to the football coach of this high school team. You made a hell of a team. Like, guys that loved each other, that would do anything for each other.
Yeah.
Like, that's some deep connection. Arian, have you ever played with a guy that you would go stage a coup for overseas?
Played with a guy or for a guy?
With a guy, like a teammate. Do you have any teammates that are like, hey, we're going to go assassinate the president of Honduras? You're like, I'm in.
Yeah, if I believed in the cause, I got a couple of homies I'll ride with for sure. Yeah,
it's a good team. He's a good teammate. So it sounds like these were just really good team. They better have won like regionals or something. So this guy Daniel Gonzalez, he turned down the $75,000, but he was like, "You're not giving me that many plans about what we're gonna do when we get there. So I'll let you guys go have fun." And he wanted to hang out at home so he could spend the summer with his girlfriend.
Yeah,
good choice.
Great choice. Yeah, so I guess like some people, if you were offered 50 to 100K, then you can start to get a little suspicious. But if your friend's like, it's going to be a service trip, we're going to build wells, you just don't see the coup coming.
50 to 100 is a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
I would have inquired a little more as to $100,000 for 4 months. You could talk me into that.
Also,
50, no.
If this is like a high school football player, that doesn't make him qualified to be some guy's bodyguard in the Congo.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't you want to hire like an actual bodyguard?
I feel like you need an impressionable mind.
Yeah. Because there are official bodyguards for hire that will kind of do whatever as long as they're paid.
How much does that cost?
If you wanted to hire one?
Yeah.
I'd assume much more than $100,000 if that's what they were offering to a high school kid.
Joe Rogan travels everywhere with a couple bodyguards, I think.
He probably needs it, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got some security guys here at Barstool that go with us to some live events.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like full-time Barstool people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of people have asked like why Portnoy doesn't have one. But I mean, for someone who pisses so many people off as he does, he's never been randomly attacked or like randomly punched in the face.
Yeah, he does travel with security a lot. Not necessarily when he's doing like a Dave trip, but if it's like a Barstool thing.
Okay.
We've got people that are with him.
Yeah.
Our security guards are great, by the way.
Yeah.
Shout out Mike. Mike can talk his way into any door. He loves it when we get to a place and there's like a line. He's like, let me go talk to the person. And he gets out. Next thing you know, 5 seconds later, he's like, I got you guys the best table in the house.
Oh, shit. I got to travel with Mike more.
Yeah, Mike's the man. So right now, these kids are detained. I guess they're adults, but they're detained by the DRC. There's going to be a military tribunal, not a regular court for them. They're being treated as enemies of the state. They might get put to death. And they got caught. They were in the Congo River trying to swim away.
Shit.
Yeah. So it's like they almost got away with a coup. So the U.S. ambassador says that she's shocked and concerned by the reports of American citizens being involved and that the U.S. is going to cooperate with Congolese authorities. The Secretary of State, Blinken, condemned the attack in a call with Tshisekedi and offered help from the U.S. with the investigation. So it sounds like the U.S. is not trying to get them out at all. They're kind of like, you made your bed, now lie in it.
Not a place I'd want to attempt to overthrow the government and be detained with the U.S. Not caring.
I'd say that the DRC is probably in the top 10 globally.
Yeah.
That I would not want to fuck with.
And also Bill Richardson, who we were talking about, he passed away, I guess.
Oh, he did?
A couple of years ago. So, yeah.
Oh, shit. So, they're
not going to have his help either.
Did you see the clip of Blinken, the Secretary of State in Ukraine, a couple of weeks ago?
I feel like I remember hearing some about him, but I don't remember what it was.
He went over there to talk to the Ukrainian government, and then he went to a bar in Kyiv. I think it was in Kyiv. And he's a bit of a guitar player. And so he got up on stage and played guitar with the band and sang. And played Keep on Rockin' in the Free World. And so that clip went pretty viral. It's like, oh, it's the U.S. Secretary of State. He's so cool. But it definitely looked like a dad sitting in with like his son's band. I want to know what Neil Young thinks about the war in Ukraine. He probably has a strong opinion about that. So yeah, that's what's going on in the DRC right now. A wild story. Just getting yourself and your friends caught up in a paramilitary operation overseas.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Za invited me to Zimbabwe. No coup. It was great.
What year was that?
That was actually right after their coup.
Their coup, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you can call it a coup.
Yeah. Because like right after the coup happened, there was like photos taken of, was Mugabe the guy that they couped?
Yes.
Yeah, there was photos of like the new general who had taken over just like hanging out with Mugabe.
Yeah, Mugabe was put on house arrest.
And I think like right after the coup, he was allowed to go and give a commencement speech at a college in Zimbabwe.
Okay. So it's like coup light.
Yeah. From what I've heard, obviously Za would never speak on this because he'd be afraid of getting in trouble or his family in trouble. But it seems like things haven't really changed. Like people did not like Mugabe. He had been in power for so long. Mm-hmm. But this new general who's in charge, he's pretty much kept the status quo, it seems.
Yeah, I did ask Za for comment because I was researching coups, and Za's like, I'm not going to touch that one.
Okay.
I'm not going to touch Zimbabwe. So anything we say is not representative of whatever Za's thinking. So yeah, been a lot of coups. You want to touch on some of the other ones? You want to go to the CIA, their greatest hits?
Real quick, there's some crazy shit going on in the Congo as well, where they're mining cobalt, and like a lot of the I guess the majority of all cobalt comes from there, and a lot of the Chinese government have set up shop over there, and they're literally, it's almost like slave labor. There's child labor going on. and like they literally just mine this mineral and sell it for. They're getting pennies from all of their labor, and like the majority of the countries in the world are gonna in the next, because especially like in Europe, there's gonna be like a push towards selling all EVs. And so this is like a huge deal, and it's like ruining all of their economy. It's ruining all of their lands, their farming, because of like all of the dust that settles. It's ruining all the agriculture there as well. And it's like a big issue, man, that not enough people know about.
The cobalt mining?
Yeah, and so cobalt is used to build electric vehicles?
Oh, it's used to build like ion lithium batteries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so ion lithium batteries have I guess so, like, like batteries can catch fire. The cobalt actually helps with mitigating that issue. And so the Chinese are huge over there, setting up shop, getting all of the workers over there to buy them over there. And it's like a really like black market shady deals going on. And you like, they interview some of the workers and stuff, and the workers like, yo, we're getting fucked over, like, but we don't have any choice. Like all of our work here goes to that. And so it's the age old, resource thing. They were saying it's like that the Congo is similar to like a Saudi Arabia for oil. And like in the near future, it's going to be like a big battleground. And so it's something to look at, man. It's sad as fuck, because there's a lot of child labor going on, and it's fucked up.
Yeah, I know China like owns a lot of Africa.
Yeah, for those reasons. Yeah, they know that in the near future, that's where everybody's going, and so it's just like the Middle East.
Yeah.
So in terms of coups, we probably did a bad job off the top explaining what a coup is, because it's a French word, coup d'etat. It means cutting off the head, right? I believe so.
That sounds right.
Yeah, coup, cut, d'etat, head.
Cut the top, maybe?
Yeah, so it's just when
You say that like it sounds very intuitive, which it does not.
Coup d'etat?
Yeah.
Okay, coup d'etat, cutting off the head. French. It's a French term. Basically when you have a government or a head of government, and then the military or somebody else in the government either kills them, has a war against them, takes them out. Like if the South had won the Civil War and killed Lincoln, you might even consider...
I know what it is.
Yeah. I'm explaining it to the people.
You looked like you were explaining to me.
No, if the South won the Civil War, because
the South didn't want to do.
The South
didn't want to do
like
a coup.
I wanted that.
I did not intend that, but you took it that way.
I don't think that example would work, though, because the South didn't want to do a coup. The South just wanted to become their own country.
But they did kill Lincoln.
I mean, are we going to say the South killed Lincoln? It was just one guy.
That wasn't an organized...
who hated Lincoln. It wasn't like organized...
It was organized.
Well, he was part of like an operation. He was not a part of the military.
He was part of an operation that was headed by Jefferson Davis and one of the biggest businessmen that was a Confederate sympathizer. It was a Confederate operation.
He was definitely
Davis was behind that?
Yeah, Jefferson Davis was involved in it. Yeah.
Send me that.
Okay. Yeah, if you read up about the assassination of Lincoln,
we should do an episode on that.
Okay, yeah, it was a big conspiracy around him. Big conspiracy around it. We ended up trying not as many people as we wanted to. And by we, I mean the Secretary of War. But it was a big, like, behind the scenes. There were coded messages sent back and forth. So, yeah, the South tried to just knock him off, which I think that would be considered a coup.
Let's do that next week.
Okay. Assassination of President Lincoln.
I'll try to finish that awful Apple show before then.
Yeah, you'll learn about it.
I think they were just kind of like, fuck you for not letting us win the war. We're going to kill you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know just John Wilkes Booth was like one of the most famous actors of his day.
Yeah, he was.
His brother was the most famous actor. He was he was like the Dave Franco.
Dave Franco? Is that the first person that comes to mind?
No, like John Franco was his brother.
Is that what
you're saying?
James
Franco.
Yeah.
Okay, now I see it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, his brother was like super famous. John was partially famous.
Yep.
But still pretty recognized, especially in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
did y'all hear the rumor that Abe Lincoln was bisexual?
I did hear that, yeah.
Yeah, he used to write like really sensual letters to one of his male friends. I think.
Yep, and he used to like travel with like and sleep in the same bed as guys. Which is they from what I read, there's like no actual proof, but there's some smoke there. I don't know if there's fire.
I also heard that Lincoln's wife was a huge bitch. So
you mean like
I heard she, yeah.
You mean in like girth, or do you mean like
I think she was a little portly, but no, I'm talking about like everyone was like, oh, Lincoln's wife is the worst. Like not related to her looks, just because of like how she would treat people.
I think she was ugly though.
Mary Todd. There's a new Broadway show all about her.
Here's a good joke. Was Abe Lincoln bisexual? I don't know. He did marry Todd.
That's
one. Good.
She definitely isn't like.
I'll let that one sit for the next 30 minutes.
I don't get it. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, come on, dude.
She was a huge.
God damn it, Big T. I can't just. You're always on my bumper about that shit. I don't get.
I'm not on your bumper.
You're on my bumper right there, man. I don't get the fucking joke, but I want to get the joke. Can you tell me a joke without chastising me?
His wife's name was Mary Todd Lincoln.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the huge bitch.
Huge bitch.
Yeah, that'd be a wild description if you was like, yeah, I heard she's a big bitch.
Honestly, it's kind of gay to marry a bitch.
I looked up.
She takes over your life.
I looked up the hottest women of the 19th century.
Oh,
to see, because I looked up Mary Todd Lincoln. I was like, she's kind of ugly.
That Big T. I have to say that's a fantastic Google search.
Yeah, there are some, like some of them aren't hot, but like in the 1800s, like that's hot.
Yeah. Old chicks.
Number 1, Lily Langtry.
That's a good name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hot name.
Billy Barlow.
Another hot name, I guess.
Fanny Kemble.
Not a hot name.
Fanny Kemble, not that attractive, I gotta say.
I think Evelyn Nesbit is my favorite, my personal.
Oh yeah, she's nice. Lotta Crabtree. She's a bit homely. Mary Anderson. Ann Sutherland. Evelyn Nesbit. Yeah.
Oh wow,
right.
do you see how they describe Evelyn Nesbit? Sullen, gloomy, dark of expression, often showing a whole lot of her breasts.
Ooh.
So she was, I mean, that's crazy for the 1800s.
What does a whole lot of her breasts mean in the 1800s?
In her days, Nesbit's face and body graced nearly every medium possible, from paintings to photographs, playing cards, and postcards.
I just looked it up because there's a link on that website where it said huge breasts, so I clicked on it.
Oh, so this one was like one of the first porn stars, it looks like.
Snuff films, as they used to be called.
They were called snuff films?
Was that the name for early porn? I went to this exhibit at the Museum of Sex in New York, and it was all about like the very first porn films
Maybe
ever
stag
made.
films? Snuff films, they kill you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Also, Evelyn Nesbit lived till 1967. She doesn't count.
Who do you guys think, if there's a ranking out there of the top 10 most famous breasts, I guess it'd be 20, but 10 people with the most famous breasts, who do you think is number 1?
Marilyn Monroe.
I think it changes every 5 years.
No, I'm talking about in
of
history.
Of all time.
It's a horny-ass conversation.
It's a what?
It's a horny-ass conversation.
It is. I mean, this year, there's a clear 1-1.
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney for this year.
Yeah. Pamela Anderson?
It's a good guess. She's number 3.
Okay.
Marilyn wasn't 1?
Nope. She's not number 2 either.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I can't... Was she known for her tits?
Well, she was like a sex
symbol. She was a buxom lady.
Okay. Betty Boop?
Nope, not Betty Boop. I don't think Betty Boop had it going like that. Some people, this goes a long way.
Give us a decade.
A decade. I'd say from off the top of my head, the 1970s on through today.
Through today, Dolly.
It's Dolly.
Yeah.
40 double D's for old Dolly.
That's insane, dog.
What?
They ain't real, right?
I don't think so. I don't think there's much, and Dolly will be the first person to say that. Like, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, why do you need breasts that big, bro?
40 double Ds. I'm just gonna say it. Not crazy big. More women have 40 double Ds than you think.
Really?
Yeah. I think once you get into
my algorithm, now I gotta Google 40 double D.
Once you get into the G cups, H cups, then we're talking.
She is only 5 feet tall.
That's pretty big for a 5 foot tall person.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
It's not that big. I mean, they're pretty big.
Stop giggling back there. What are you guys giggling about?
Googling breasts, man. This is.
It's just funny to listen to you guys talk about it.
Coup de tits, am I right?
Coup de tits.
Okay, all right. Fact or fiction? More women are walking around with double Ds than we think of when we have this conversation. It's not that uncommon, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Wait,
that's
time out. Before I don't know it's like the size metric.
Cup. The letter is the size,
And then the number is your like rib cage
like the
measurement.
band around it.
Well, why does it double D? Why don't you just go to E?
So it goes A, B, C, D,
DD.
double D. I think it then goes triple D, and then it goes E, F, G.
Because like past D is
It's like that's like plus size territory. Not plus size that you're fat if you have those boobs, but like when people.
it's not as common.
Yeah.
I also think boobs have gotten bigger. I think that D used to be like, oh, whoa, D cups, crazy. And now more women have D cups.
Wait, do they have double Bs and doubles? C?
No.
What's
I
the
think
point
they
of
have
the
like
double
maybe
D?
I think they have maybe like double A for like literally nothing.
Mosquito bites.
Yeah.
Damn.
Itty bitty titty committee.
Number 2. Any guess on who number 2 is?
Give me a decade.
Salma Hayek.
I'd say
Hillary Clinton.
at her peak in the 80s and 90s, and also a little bit 2000s recently.
Paula Abdul.
Kind of fallen off. Nope.
What an odd guess.
I just try to name women from that era. I don't even remember.
Give me a profession.
Musician, singer.
Singer in the
Cher.
80s and 90s.
Madonna. Correct.
Really?
Yeah, Madonna.
Yeah. People like Madonna like that?
She used to be a sex symbol.
She used to be.
Really?
Yeah, she had.
She looks horrible
What's the matter
now.
to you?
Yeah, well, she's kind of like really busted.
And I think that's the product of plastic surgery. I think you guys should do an episode just on plastic surgery at some point.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Madonna had in the 1980s and 90s. Madonna was sex.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Yeah,
She was like the Marilyn Monroe of the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. She wrote books about sex. She had songs about sex. Everybody's like, "Whoa, this is crazy." This woman talking about her body is wild. Pam Anderson, number 3.
Is Marilyn on there?
I'm not seeing her on this list. No.
That's crazy. I would have guessed number 1.
Terry Hatcher was number 8, just pretty much for the real and spectacular.
I know who that is, but Arian doesn't. You should tell him.
Okay, it's Terry Hatcher. She's an actress. She was on Desperate Housewives. She was in the commercials with Howie Long for a while.
Okay, I've seen this.
She was in Seinfeld. She was their real and spectacular.
I don't get that reference, but I'm
What's
sure
her
other
name?
people do.
Terry Hatcher.
Hatcher.
Number 9 was Susan G. Komen because of the awareness of breast cancer.
I've never even seen Terry Hatcher before.
You've never seen that? There's no chance you've never seen Terry
I'm
Hatcher.
looking at this woman. She looks new to me.
No, this
they
is an
knew-
ultra white reference point.
Terry Hatcher?
This is a
I
new
mean,
human.
you named
Desperate
Seinfeld
Housewives.
and Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like when Desperate Housewives was on, Arian was busy.
That's
Probably with some Desperate Housewives.
Yeah. Arian's typing in Desperate Housewives and it auto completes because he's in
I just
unrelated
typed in
search.
double D's and Desperate Housewives. Algorithm is in shambles right now.
Oh no, you're gonna get a lot of ads about boobs.
Yeah.
How did we get
Older
onto
women?
How did we get onto boobs?
Mary Todd Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mary
yeah.
Todd Lincoln.
Oh yeah, then Lincoln might have been a coup. But yeah, there's been here's some stats about coups. There have been 457 coup attempts worldwide from 1950 to 2010. That seems a bit light.
And what's the percentage of the ones that actually worked?
What would your guess be?
I think they're hitting at like 30% success.
Oh no.
I was going to say about half that.
Okay.
Oh no. It's actually 49.7%.
All right.
Coups are
You got no,
a pretty good bet.
that's bad news for a lot of governments out there.
You've got better chance winning a coup than you do of winning a hand of blackjack.
Yeah.
49.7% were successful, 50.3% unsuccessful. They're most common in Africa and the Americas. 36.5% happen in Africa. 31% have happened in the Americas. Asia and the Middle East have 13.1% and 15.8% of total global coups. And Europe only has 2.6% of coups.
Okay. One of the most recent coups that I recall was 2016 in Turkey, but it failed. And they had a lot of support. Like when I heard about it, I was like, these guys are going to win. They had like the Air Force. So I think they were just like bombing strategic locations. But it failed, and they still have the same guy, Erdogan, or what's his name?
Yeah. How do you lose if you have the Air Force? You just run out of bombs?
I wonder how they lost.
I guess if you have the Air Force but you don't have any ground troops, and they could just take over the airports.
Oh, so I guess one problem with the coup is that the government found out about it 5 hours. They found out about it like a day early, so then they had to kind of like launch the coup 5 hours ahead of schedule, and that like caused a lot of chaos.
Didn't have their coffee yet.
No.
Coups are like that. You have to like do a surprise reveal of the coup.
Oh, and then like one of the leaders of the coup was shot dead like right at the beginning. So then they lost a lot of organization.
It's a good way to stop it.
Yeah.
Just take the head dude out immediately. You do a coup on the coup.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, how do you get a coup going? If you were to start, you got to be real careful about who you tell about the coup.
Yeah.
You can't just like put up flyers being like, "Hey, flash mob,
Flash mob.
let's show up at the White House tomorrow." No, you gotta have like a base of people and people that you really trust. But I mean, people are gonna speak about it.
I know, because you can't launch a coup with only two people. You need like a squad.
And you have to know that the first person. You know what? I think the first person that you tell about the coup, you're pretty sure they're down for it, because you probably hold that in for a while. You have this idea, and then you tell somebody that you know would be down. You're like, "Hey, you want to do a coup?" I think it's the second person that you tell where now it's like a little bit dicey.
Who are the first two people you'd reach out to if you were staging a coup?
If I was staging a coup, who would I?
In your real life.
So would this be like a company coup?
Yeah, good point.
Okay, yeah.
Are we talking about a company coup?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, if we're taking Dave out, I think my first call, Hank. I get Hank involved as early as possible.
Okay.
Because then I can blame it all on Hank. That's the main strategy there. Yeah.
Who's your
fellow
second?
guy. Second guy? See, I'm not going to say Big Cat because I feel like, Big Cat and Dave, they go way, way back. Hank too. Hank actually goes back further with Dave. But I couldn't blame it all on Hank. Or sorry, I couldn't blame it all on Big Cat. I could blame it all on Hank. I'd be fine with that. Past him, I feel like maybe Big T. Big T's
really?
You're always down to storm any sort
I reject.
of building.
I would never try to overthrow Dave. So I would go straight to Dave actually, and your coup would be thwarted.
My coup's dead. Yeah, I don't know. Who's your coup buddy here at Barstool Sports? Brendan Walker would probably be an easy one to get fired up.
He'd be down for
He's
a coup.
Probably already has plans drawn up. I'll be waiting for you to tell me that, PFT. Let's do it. I got my mask.
Yeah.
Nick would be great vibes for a coup.
True. But would the coup accomplish what it needed to accomplish?
You need a vibes guy in there.
Yeah, locker room guy.
Yeah,
Somebody keeping the coup light.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like Jerry would be down, but I don't know if he would keep.
Oh,
the
he
secret.
could be talked into a coup very easily.
I think Jerry could be talked into a coup. Just
Very easy.
Just
he could be like,
give him a figure. Give him
"They're
a number.
fucking you over, Jerry. They're fucking you over," and he'd get super riled up.
I treat you so good, Jerry.
Yeah.
Not like Dave.
Yep.
I would make you a star, Jerry.
Yeah. As long as you didn't tell Gaz, because once Gaz finds out, the coup's over.
Yeah, the most ride or die people. Who would you tell, Arian? Let's say teammates that you've had.
Oh, I thought we were doing we're not doing Barstool.
Oh yeah, do Barstool then.
I'm telling Nick, just because that's my fucking guy. And then I fuck around. Yeah, I fuck around. Tell you, Donnie. I feel like you got some experience in like just period in general. You got some experience, so like I'm gonna need you. Maybe like I don't know, military like shit like that. I don't know. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I just feel like you do.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd like to revise one of my picks. I'm not telling Hank; he's too close to Gaz.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Chaps.
Oh yeah,
Chaps and Kate. I'm telling Chaps and Kate
Support the troops.
right off the bat. Now I've got the military.
Yeah. Now at some point it's probably going to come down to, because like Dave said, he's never selling the company again. So like at some point in his life, he'll just hand it over to someone. I wonder if that's going to be like a vote, or if there's going to be some sort of like coup to like
A reality show.
Oh, if they turn it into a reality show, who gets the entire company?
I want to inherit Barstool.
Because you can have, like, there are company coups, but that's when, like, the board kind of, like, secretly votes someone out.
Yeah, hostile takeover.
Yeah, hostile takeover. That's pretty much a coup.
It is a coup. Yeah, I would qualify that as a coup. Bloodless coup.
But Barstool doesn't have a board, which is nice, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Dave is just going to be like, one day, it is probably going to be Hank. Yeah, I have to start kissing his ass now. That's why I took him off the list of guys I would tell about the coup.
Yeah.
Mad Dog McKenzie, who would you guys tell?
Oh, I don't know.
I think Mackenzie's one.
Yeah, that's a given. We would tell
McKenzie, no disrespect.
We would tell each other.
No disrespect, McKenzie. You would be terrible in a coup attempt.
Oh, I would. Yeah, no. But I would immediately die. Probably.
Mackenzie is mentals on a coup though. And
yeah,
then,
I could keep the secret.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be involved in the.
I couldn't hide things from Mackenzie. Yeah. If I was staging a coup, I couldn't act cool around her to not say anything. And then my second one would be to take down Dave. Oh God. Do you have anything?
I don't know. I would probably tell you PFT.
Thank you, McKenzie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Or what about
All Business Pete?
Oh.
You could shut down the internet.
Oh yeah.
A coup would be a lot easier if no one had
maybe
internet.
like Stefan.
That's good.
Oh.
That's good strategy on Donnie's part.
That's why I chose him. That's why he just knows shit. He just knows.
Shut down the communication lines.
I was gonna say, because I was gonna say Chuck might be in there, but Chuck's too close to Gaz.
Yeah.
All Business Pete is a strong choice.
That's a really good choice.
Who's Gaz?
Ooh, buddy. No one really knows.
Yeah.
Gaz might not exist. Have you ever seen that movie, The Usual Suspects?
Nah.
It's Kobayashi. Like
Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, Kaiser Sose.
Kobayashi is the professional eater.
But I thought that there's somebody else in Usual Suspects that has like a Japanese sounding name. I forget what that is. But Gaz is Dave's real right hand man.
Yeah, he's my boss.
Gaz has been working since the very start. I think the first employee probably of the entire company. And now, if you ever need to get into a strip club in Miami, he's your guy.
Yeah. Or on a
Keep
boat.
that in mind.
Yeah, he's a big boat guy. Likes boats. women, that type of stuff.
Well, that's odd.
What about you, Big T?
No one.
Yeah, if I were to stage a coup, it would be a solo mission.
Just Big T versus the world?
Yeah. I don't have anyone in my circle.
You be a lone wolf?
I have, correct. I'm a one-man wolf pack.
I can just picture him putting the black shit under his eyes, getting ready for war, dog.
Just go up to Dave. This is a coup.
People don't use eye black enough. That's a great point. We need more eye black.
Yeah, does eye black actually work?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
it didn't work for me. I didn't get it. I tried it, but I never got it.
It's supposed to take the glare away, but I've never had that big of a problem with glare.
Yeah,
I do
glare
wear
didn't bother
sunglasses
me,
on.
but I don't know. Dudes used to cake that shit on. I'm like, I tried it. I was like, this is just, you feel it on your face. It's kind of annoying.
And like if you sweat, like I
Yeah.
guess now most guys use those like strips, but
Yep.
Now, if you were to launch a coup, you have to fully commit, because the problem with that dude in Russia, what was his name again, who kind of like started to attempt a coup against Putin?
The guy from Wagner.
Yeah,
that got his plane shot down.
Yeah,
Yevgeny what's his name?
He was like
Wagner
marching on Moscow, and he had like a lot of support. He had like most of the troops with him.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, this guy might actually succeed. Putin's going to have to flee. And then he like talked to Putin on the phone and he agreed to call it off. That guy like should have known better. Like he knows Putin. He knows that Putin's not going to forget about this, and that like the moment he called off the coup, Putin was going to have him killed sometime in the next year.
It was Yevgeny Prigozhin.
Yeah.
Prigozhin. So
Prigozhin.
yeah, that was very close to being a major coup. One of the biggest in the history of the world, probably, if he had taken out Putin during this war.
Yeah.
So this dude has such a crazy story. He was a hot dog salesman.
Yes.
Originally he was a fuck up kid, like a delinquent. He got thrown in prison. When he got out, he opened up a hot dog cart in Moscow. And he got really good at cooking and selling hot dogs, made some money, reinvested it, started a catering company. He started making these connections, started catering for some of the nicest dinners in Moscow, met some politicians, met Putin, catered some of his meals, and then he decided that he was going to use his connections to start a military contracting group. And so he recruited a bunch of military guys. He was like, okay, we're gonna be like a secret arm of the Russian military right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he would get a bunch of people from prison, like right out of prison. He's like, you're my guys.
Yeah.
And he would get people, he got to the point where he would recruit people in prison and he would say, we will get you out of prison if you serve with us for a couple of years. So he got like some real badass dudes. Apparently he was a good leader. They all loved him. They respected him. And he's been leading this group that's been fighting these mercenary wars across the world. Like he was in Syria. We bombed the shit out of the Wagner group in Syria one time. There was like a war, essentially a war between the United States and Russia that happened in Syria that we don't really talk about that much. But it was, since it wasn't the Russian military, it was the Wagner group. It's not officially a war between the U.S. and Russia, but it was.
Oh,
so
shit.
they rolled up. I think they had like a few hundred people. They were trying to roll up on one of our bases. And we're like, fuck that. We're going to send our baddest planes and crazy artillery and tanks and shit at them. We smoked them. Murdered, not, I guess, is it murder in a war? We killed like hundreds of them.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, yeah, they were dead. It was a bloodbath. And then the Russian government had to pretend like they had no idea that it was going to happen. But anyways, this guy, Prigozhin, he's been helping fight the war in Ukraine since the start of it, really. The Wagner troops have been over there doing a lot of stuff. He got mad at the Russian government, specifically their equivalent of the director of the Department of Defense or whatever, the Secretary of Defense. And he was like, you guys are fucking us over. We're not getting our supplies.
Yep.
Our guys are out there dying because you're not doing your job in Moscow. And he was the first person to like publicly say these bad things about the Russian military, which you don't do. But since Putin liked him, he felt like he could get away with it. And he also had a bunch of soldiers that were like, you're the man.
Ride or die.
We'll ride or die with you no matter what. At one point, the Russians bombed a Wagner group camp. I don't know if it was by mistake, if it was intentional. He thought it was intentional. So he was like, fuck this, I've had enough. Rallied a bunch of soldiers, went over to the city in Russia that was controlling essentially the war in Ukraine. It was one of their big cities. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it's on the Don River. And so took a bunch of troops over there, stormed that city, took over that city. They controlled that city, recruited a bunch of people from the Russian military and be like, ride with me. This war is fucking us over. We're going to unite and we're going to go up to Moscow. So he actually like took over the city and absorbed a lot of their army. Like, what's her name? Khaleesi?
Yes.
In Game of Thrones?
Yep.
Whenever the horse people would go and take
Dothraki.
Yep.
the Dothraki would take people over, they'd absorb their army. That's what this dude Prigozhin was doing. So he got a big ass group of soldiers. They started making their way up the highways. The Russian government knew that they were coming up the highway, so they tried to bulldoze the highways and put big dumpsters filled with sand on them to make them impossible. They just stormed through all that shit. They're like, fuck that, we're going to Moscow. We're going to take over the Russian government. And it was like, okay, it's happening. It's going to happen. Then he gets to Russia, and it stops. And then it's like, okay, coup's over. Go home.
I think that they agreed. He talked to Putin. Putin was like, go to Belarus, and we can consider this water under the bridge.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But it's not water under the bridge.
Not with Putin.
We're going to put a hand grenade on one of your private jets.
Yeah.
And take you out.
And that plane fell for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably had a good 5 minutes where he was like, fucking Putin.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have called off the coup.
Yeah, it's not like they fired a missile at it and blew up the entire plane. The plane was intact. It was just destroyed and falling to earth. So yeah, don't try to stage a coup in Russia. Good advice.
And don't attack in the winter.
Two big things, yes. So there's been a bunch of coups throughout the recent history of the world. We'll just touch on some of them. A lot in Central America. And those did have to do with the CIA, the U.S. Fruit Company, Guatemala.
Banana republics is what they would call them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
I learned more recently than I should have what that was.
Yeah, same.
In the last 4 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you learn them?
I don't remember. But I remember hearing it one time used in an academic context, and I was like,
yeah,
what the fuck? And then I looked into it.
Yeah, so the United Fruit Company was a U.S. corporation. It did a lot of business in Central America, and it was very, very powerful. It could essentially dictate whether or not a person would get elected or if they would get overthrown. So there was a coup in Guatemala in 1954. We were initially supportive of Arbenz. Jacobo Arbenz. But then that relationship went downhill because he was trying to do land reforms and take some of the land back from the United Fruit Company. And then in 1954, we forced Arbenz from power, and then there was a lot of war, and the CIA was very much involved in all that. We equipped rebels, we gave weapons to paramilitary troops, and we blockaded the Guatemalan coast. The U.S. did that. Actually, if you look in El Salvador too, the reason why, at least where I grew up, it was Northern Virginia was mostly Central American immigrants, almost none from Mexico. It was heavily El Salvadoran, Guatemalan, a little bit of Peruvian. But the reason for that is because we basically started a civil war in El Salvador. And so everybody moved out of El Salvador between 1978 and 1994. And so they all came to America because we made their country so tough to live in.
And I heard that the people we were supporting in El Salvador, I think there was really bad people on both sides, but the people we were supporting were not good.
Yeah, they were bad people.
Very
bad people on both sides of that one, for sure. But it turned into a civil war, and that's why MS-13 got so big, was a bunch of people immigrated to the United States. There were connections back to El Salvador, and it became a very, very hard place to live until recently where the crime is down. But that we can talk about the crime situation in El Salvador in another podcast.
Yeah.
Because their president basically said, we're going to lock up anyone that's in a gang. We're going to be hard on crime. And now crime is at an all-time low in El Salvador. The problem with it is their policy is if you are in a gang, if you are close friends with anyone who's in a gang, if you know someone who's in a gang, we're going to lock you up and we're going to put you in prison for the rest of your life. So there's a lot of people that are innocent. You could just call the cops and be like, hey, my neighbor's in a gang. And the cops would show up, pick that person up. Now they're in prison. So it's done a lot of good for safety there. But there's probably a lot of people that are like, fuck, I'm not even in a gang. Now I'm in a prison with only gang members.
And now I got to join a gang.
Yeah.
Kind of like that guy in the Philippines who was like, if you shoot a drug dealer, we'll pay you $200.
Yeah.
And then people were just shooting random people and being like, oh, I saw them do drugs.
It's crazy. The guy that was fucking my wife, turns out he was a drug dealer too.
Yeah.
So he's dead.
But
2 birds with one stone.
I did have a friend that recently went to El Salvador. He said it was great.
It's great now?
Yeah.
That's awesome because it was very, very bad for a long time.
Yeah. Probably like the most dangerous country on the planet for a bit.
Yeah. The city, San Salvador, probably one of the worst places to go to until recently.
Okay.
Do you guys remember that video? It was during COVID, I think, because the lady was wearing a mask. She was in Myanmar and she was doing like a live stream of a yoga routine. And in the background of it, you see all these tanks going down the street. She unknowingly live streamed a coup that was happening. Like nobody knew that this was going down, but this one lady was like doing a workout fitness routine thing. And then, oh shit, there's a coup. It was pretty crazy to watch.
Haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that.
Myanmar, the capital is Yangon, but it used to be called Rangoon. That's where that's where the name crab rangoons come from.
Really?
How do you get rid of Rangoon? That's a timeless.
I know, they went from Rangoon to Yangon.
I feel like if you're known for the Rangoon, you can't get rid of that.
That's like it changed from Burma, right? It was Burma
Yeah.
to Myanmar.
Yeah. Burma to Myanmar, Yangon, Rangoon to Yangon.
It'd be like Hamburg, Germany, changing their name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't think they eat rangoons in Burma.
Rangoons are an American
Malaysia.
delicacy, right?
Yeah. Invented in the U.S. They just wanted to name it after something exotic sounding.
I see. Do you think they know the prominence of Rangoons overseas?
I don't know. I do know there was like a 3-year period where there were a lot of tourists going to Myanmar. Like it had gotten really dangerous, and then for a while, like I don't know, there was peace and it was safe for a bit, and I think now it's back to being very dangerous.
They have a crazy dictator, I think.
Yeah, they have like a military government, but I always wanted to go and do a travel series where like I try to open up the first Rangoon stand in Rangoon.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I think they would like it.
What are your top 3 Rangoons?
Like Rangoon spots.
Mm-hmm.
In Chicago, it's Chef's Special.
That place is great.
3 Little Pigs. Shout out the owner, Henry. And then in Massachusetts, I mean, there was this place, Feng Shui, which I loved. It just closed down. But I mean, most of the Rangoons I have back in Boston are pretty solid. If you go to Chinatown there's great spots. Ming Dynasty in Marshfield, Mass. I don't know. I don't think any of these names are going to mean much to people, but Massachusetts and Chicago both have plenty of good goons. New York, I never found a good one.
Not a goon town. Not even one they named after you.
No.
It's sad.
Yeah.
Also in China, they did that. They renamed a bunch of cities when the new government took over. Like Beijing was Peking.
Yeah. So that's just what I think foreigners called it, because like they couldn't pronounce Beijing. They thought it was easier to call it Peking.
Oh, really? Because even like on a map, it would say like Peking.
Yeah, I think that's just because obviously Chinese maps would just have the 2 symbols, the 2 Chinese characters for Beijing. But like all maps that would be typed in English, they would call it Peking. Guangzhou was Canton. Yeah, I mean, we changed names all over the place.
Mad Dog McKenzie, who was that was just trying to get in?
I'm going to let you take one guess.
Was it Ben Mintz?
It might have been, yep.
What was Ben Mintz trying to do in here?
I don't know. He had a shirt and a tie on. Like
Go get him. Go find
He
out.
opened the room and said,
I think-
"Oh, wrong room."
Yeah, go find out what Ben was trying to do in here.
I think he was trying to find the green screen room. You want to go get him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, he was trying to find the green screen room?
It's like that way.
Yeah, I know. That's Ben, man. One of a kind mind. A lot of other coups we can touch on. Iran.
Hey, real quick, give me your top, because you're talking about name change thing. Give me your top named U.S. state and give me your least favorite U.S. state names.
Ooh, I like that.
I like Virginia. I like
go in this.
Louisiana.
Yeah, that one's pretty lit too.
Arizona's got a good name.
Arizona's fire, bro.
Zona.
Arizona's up there, bro.
Yeah, good name.
Zona.
Hey, Mincy.
How we doing, boys?
Good. Come over here to this mic.
Okay.
I just saw you peek your head in. What's going on?
Going back to school to prove to my mother that I'm no fool.
Okay.
So I went back when I was
yeah.
30, and now I'm going back when I'm 40
All right. So why'd you come in here?
because I turned into the wrong room.
Oh, okay. You got
We're
turned
taping in
around.
another room, but so I'm dressed up. I think I have kindergarten today.
Okay. So you what are we doing? Coloring?
I don't know what we're doing. Tate's my teacher, and Lucas is the producer, and they've told me nothing. And the whole point is for me to have no idea what I'm walking into.
Have you never been to the green screen room?
It's not in the green screen room; it's the one across.
Okay.
But I just
Okay.
ducked into the wrong room. But yeah, I have. But I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, I don't spend much time back here.
We were just on a Zoom call with Mintz and a lot of other people at the company, and he couldn't figure out how to unmute his mic.
I figured it out after and tried to raise my hand, and Dave closed the meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
It seems perfectly standard.
Yeah.
We had 2 questions asked by the entire company in the Zoom meeting. The first was by Jerry.
Who couldn't unmute either until
He couldn't unmute, and then Mintz tried to unmute, couldn't do it. But both guys asked questions that I think are very perfectly aligned to exactly what you think they would ask in a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, well,
Did you get your answer?
I texted Dave, but I hadn't heard an answer yet.
Okay, he'll get back to you.
Yes.
I
he
feel
will.
like it's such an obvious thing that he's probably like, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here.
All right, well,
Hope y'all doing well, boys.
good luck with kindergarten.
Thank you. I hope I don't have cursive today. That's could be a problem. I think that's second. Or third
that's
grade, though.
second grade. You're good.
Yeah. And that's that. I think they're going to probably stop teaching that. I don't think there is a reason for kids these days to know cursive.
Sign your name.
I was literally just talking
just
to
do a signature.
my cousin about that. She teaches 3rd grade, and she was like, "Yeah, we don't teach that anymore,
Okay.
like
Good.
at all."
Yeah, it's
and I was
not
like,
good.
"Yeah, it's so dumb because you learn it, and they're like, you're only gonna write in cursive, and then you're not."
Arian, to answer your question, I hate the name of the state of Georgia because it is named for a tyrant, and I find it abhorrent that we kept it.
Nice.
Change the name.
I'd be down.
Cancel King George.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy that like a third of our states are named for royalty from the country that we seceded from.
That is
I
true.
think all states that have new in front of them, they all suck.
Yep.
All of them suck. All of them suck. And I grew up in New Mexico, and that is the worst. That is the worst state name in the United States of America, because every time you go, because it's not a well-known state for anything. There's not a lot of resources there. It's kind of barren. And anytime I went anywhere, they'd be like, "Where you from?" It was from New Mexico. They'd be like, "Oh wow, you speak good English." I'm like, nigga, everywhere I went, it was the same shit, bro. And then now I moved to California, and I started telling people I was from San Diego because it's just you just get less follow-up questions.
Yeah, I feel like New Mexico. It's very unoriginal to do that. It's like saying Mexico too.
Yeah,
Like it's not new. It's been there.
yeah. Come up with something like Arizona's a fire
Great name.
name.
California. When you hear Arnold say it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
California.
mean, it did. New Mexico used to be part of Mexico, so maybe they
Yeah.
should call it. They should call it American Mexico. Maybe
Oh yeah.
that might make
American
sense.
Mexico.
I like
American Mexico,
Idaho is a good name.
Idaho.
No, Idaho.
I don't really like.
Oh shit.
I don't really like Illinois for some reason. The silent S at the end sort of pisses me off.
Oh, you don't like native names? That's interesting.
Oh,
That is
shit.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I like Massachusetts. That's a native name too.
I don't like Arkansas.
Minnesota's kind of that rolls off the tongue very well. I like that one.
I don't like Arkansas either.
You like Arkansas?
Don't like the way it's spelled.
It's too close to Kansas, but pronounced totally different.
Why this is Kansas, but this is not Arkansas.
Yeah, it should be Kansas
What
or
a classic
Kansas.
name.
Arkansas.
It should be Arkansas or Kansas.
Yep.
Kansas. I don't mind. It's Arkansas.
Kansas got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Ohio.
What?
I think it's a bad name.
Too short.
Too short. You said it. Too short. Ohio.
Also, don't like that it's 4 letters, 3 syllables. That I don't like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
4 letters should be 2 syllables max.
It's doing too much.
Yep.
You just said it wasn't doing enough.
Doing too much.
Well, it's not real. It's not doing a lot, but it's trying to, which is like more embarrassing. Like, sweetie, you're embarrassing yourself. Like, sit down.
I like it. I like the name Ohio.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah.
It's too many vowels.
So Rhode Island, the full name is not Rhode Island. The full name is Rhode Island and Providence Plantations.
Oh wow!
I think that's the actual name
I
of the
never
state.
knew that.
But it's not an island.
Yeah, and it's not an island.
Is
So
there an island?
And it's not a road.
There is an island, but I mean, I think that's why the real name is Rhode Island and Providence Plantations.
That's an
But
it's an
I also-
embarrassing name.
I also
Rhode
don't
Island.
like having the word plantation in the state name.
Yeah,
It's problematic of sorts.
I think that Rhode Island should be ashamed of itself
Mm-hmm.
for calling itself an island, and it's obviously not.
Yeah. It has islands, but no.
Maine's good too. I like Maine.
I don't mind, man. I don't
Oh,
mind.
so Rhode Island finally changed its name in 2020. So it was Rhode Island and the Providence Plantations. In 2020, they just shortened it to just Rhode Island.
Like during the Black Lives Matter protests, they're like, "We're going to take a stand."
Yeah, I actually think that's why they did it.
That was in was it Arizona or what state was the last one to they like hadn't recognized Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, Arizona was I think the last one, and
That was about that time too, I think.
no, they did it. I feel like they did it way more, or it was like
Something
Back in the
similar to
90s,
that
maybe?
happened in 2020.
I don't know. The Dixie Chicks just became the Chicks.
Yeah.
Those were the big wins of that movement. Dixie Chicks taking the word Dixie out, and then Rhode Island dropping plantation from their state name that nobody knew about.
Yeah.
It's like, hey guys, we're racist too, but we're not anymore.
Yeah.
Just want to let everybody know.
They Morgan Spurlocked themselves.
They R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Mad Dog, can we have a little talk, little social media strategy discussion here? Morgan Spurlock, director of Super Size Me. We talked about him on this show just maybe a month ago or so.
Yeah, not soon before he passed.
So
Or not long.
he died,
Yeah.
and he was real young, died of cancer, unfortunately. We talked about his movie, some of the criticisms, some of the good stuff that came out of it. And so he passed away, and then Mad Dog rushes to Twitter and fires off a tweet like, "We did it again."
No, that's good. That's good. That's good engagement.
And then she replies to it, also R.I.P. as an afterthought. Like a man died, Mad Dog.
See, that's okay. That's sometimes I don't know because people tagged me in it because I didn't see it at first. I don't know. R.I.P. to that man.
You were so excited he died.
I wasn't excited, but people tag me in it, and then I'm like, well, I feel like I have to say something about the curse.
I feel
but
like
then someone else unfortunately passed away this weekend, and we also recently talked about him, and I didn't say anything. I got to
Who?
pick and choose.
Bill Walton.
did we talk about Bill Walton?
The GOAT.
Yeah, we were. I think when we were talking about shrooms, he came up.
Yeah, psychedelics.
And that felt a bit too sensitive to
I
bring
feel
up.
like for the Morgan Spurlock, maybe a gif of like a guy nervously looking around would have been good.
I didn't throw an exclamation point on it.
They're so glad it happened.
Let me go see
again.
what it said.
I did not throw an exclamation point.
We
on
should compile a list of everybody
we did it
we've
again.
been unintentionally
it.
speaking.
No,
that
I
into-
said it was ... The curse lives on. Also read.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Adding also R.I.P. makes it look worse.
It does, yeah.
that makes it look hilarious.
As
That's
an P.S.
Oh, forgot about this part.
I know, like, because we talk about the curse and then it happens, and then it's like, do I acknowledge that it happened?
Yeah.
Is it bad social media on me to not acknowledge that it happened?
some would say.
I think Big T's right. I think just the guy nervously looking around. Maybe the kid with his hand on his stomach. Is that the one that you're talking about?
Oh,
And
you're
like
talking
going
about
like
the
this?
Popeyes kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have been a good
Popeye's
one.
kid works there.
He's like-
Yeah.
I apologize to anyone I may have offended with that tweet.
Because you don't want to have the gift be too joyful. You can't have like Steve
Right.
Urkel being like, "Did I do that?"
Right.
Another one.
That could have been funny also.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna say that.
I mean, you kinda
would
did.
Would that not be fun to like look at to see, like just to date? We name somebody, then the date they had recently passed.
That would like.
I mean, most of those are just Arian's top 10, like who I want to do list, and they happen to be like 93 years old when they die.
Like, okay, so let's have a social media meeting right now. What do I do about Jimmy Carter, if and when?
I don't know, because that's not a curse.
He's
outlived the curse.
He is the
won.
antithesis of the curse. He is.
But we've talked about him so much, I would have to comment. What would you want me to say?
Jimmy Carter,
friend of the program, passes away after a long and productive life.
Was
unexpectedly Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, that's good.
While building a house.
Because I don't think he's gonna die. I don't think so. It will be unexpected to me when he does pass away.
They've been saying he's gonna die for 2 years.
Yeah, just say
imminently.
Yeah, unexpectedly.
Breaking news. Unexpectedly.
Outlive the curse.
Jimmy Carter.
Gone too soon.
Gone too soon.
He was president and even better human being, much better human being.
I'd say minus 125. He's alive for this election.
You think? Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if he was around for another like 5 years. Jimmy Carter should just say, you know what? I'm going to run for president again. I only served one term. I think I learned a lot of stuff in the last 60 years. Elect me. Would you rather have Jimmy Carter or Joe Biden?
I was just fixing to say he might be a better option than Joe Biden.
He could be. Good person. Great person even.
Great person, as mentally capable as Biden is.
They're about the same age, aren't they?
No joking. They're probably, 10 years off, maybe 12?
Do an actual guess.
I know that Biden's older than Bill Clinton.
So Biden is 82?
81 or 82?
I think Jimmy is 90.
93. I'm going to say 93.
Okay. Joe Biden is 81. Jimmy Carter is 99.
Oh, he's 99.
Oh my God.
Oh, this nigga got to see 100. Now I'm rooting for it now.
Yeah, when's his birthday?
Now you're rooting for him.
I mean, I wasn't rooting for him.
October 1st.
Okay, we got to get.
We can get there.
We got to get Jimmy to October 1st.
But see, no. Now that we're saying this is going to be the curse.
Protect Jimmy Carter at all costs. Yeah. No, he can do it. Get him to 100.
He's already been in hospice for a year though. That's not a good
more.
sign.
Yeah, longer.
Oh, okay.
But that's what I've been saying. He just needed to sit down for a little while and he'd be fine.
He's got to do it. Come on, Jimmy.
Yeah, now it's a thing.
I think we may have just.
No.
Let me be the first to wish President Carter's family my condolences. Because PFT had to fucking.
No, you said let's get him to the election. You put minus odds on.
No,
you put minus
it was
odds.
really Mad Dog.
Yes, I did.
With the age thing. That's what did it.
Yeah, the 99, but still, like 100 would be so sweet for Jimmy.
I like that.
Would it?
I
want someone to ask him.
Well, because here's the thing.
At this point, yeah.
Okay, if you ask me right now, is being 100, would you want to be 100 years old? I'd say I don't know, maybe not, because
have you seen him?
You don't do that. You're not doing that much cool stuff anymore. But if you told me you live to 99, do you want to live to 100? I would say, fuck yes, I do. Like, I don't want to be 99 and never be 100. That would suck.
I guess, but
Yeah.
he looks like he is ready to go be with Rosalind and the Lord.
Only the good die young. Jimmy Carter.
Are you saying he's a horrible person?
He's an evil human being.
You want the president to go to jail, so.
Yeah, Jimmy would be in prison under my rules for sure.
Lock him up.
Jimmy was involved in Iran for a while.
Oh yes, we were talking about that coup. That's a very important coup because that's the reason why Iran hates us to this day.
Yeah. So the reason why they had the Islamic Revolution in Iran is because they were pissed off at the new government that we installed, essentially.
Yeah.
So they had 2 years of Mohammad Mossadegh's premiership, and he challenged the authority of the Shah, nationalized the Iranian oil industry that was previously operated by British companies, and we did not like that. We didn't like the fact that he was claiming Iran's oil for Iran, and so we teamed up with England, and we were like, yeah, we're going to get this guy out of here, and we're going to put somebody in that is more friendly to the oil business.
Mm-hmm.
So according to a declassified CIA history of the operation, it was at a time when the Cold War was at its height, when the U.S. was involved in an undeclared war in Korea against forces supported by the USSR and China, and that compelled the United States in planning and executing the code name of the coup operation was called TPA Jax, was the name of it. So we looked at this as potentially another Cold War battleground because Iran and Russia are very close. Right? They've got interests there, and we were like, yeah, we're gonna get a new regime in that's friendlier to our business. And then everybody was like, what the fuck? We hate this guy. The backlash was the Islamic Revolution that took over, and that's what took away a lot of liberties, especially for women in Iran.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't think the Shah was great, but he was like, socially, people were a lot more liberal then. Like you see photos of Iran back then, everyone's like, it looks like you could be in the U.S. Like everyone's wearing bikinis at the beach. Or
those are my favorite posts when people online are like, look at Iran and how great of a country it was back in like the 1950s, and it's just hot chicks.
Yeah,
it's like, whoa, there's hot chicks in Iran?
Iranians might have some of the hottest chicks on the planet.
You think so?
So I went to the Iran-USA game when I was in Qatar, and like the vast majority of women weren't covered up there. And yeah, I would say like as a whole, like the most attractive fan base I've seen.
It's a good strategy to get people to enact social reforms. It's like, look how hot they are.
Yeah.
We want to see more of them.
But I think that's maybe why the people in charge like want them covered up. Like
they're too hot.
They're too hot. Like the only reason I can control my wife now is that she's covered up and none of my friends know how hot she is.
Yeah. Or like if we had a bunch of like hotties running around, then people would probably come over here, marry them, and then take them out of Iran.
Ooh,
we want to keep all the hot people here. So everywhere else in the world, you're not allowed to look at them.
Yeah.
Don't even look at our women.
Nope.
Actually, my favorite posts are the ones that are like a throwback picture to like the 60s, but they're not bikini pictures. They're just like women in a library and they're wearing normal clothes, like maybe a skirt, maybe like a short dress, and they just look like normal women, and everyone was like, oh, god damn. Look at that.
Yes.
Holy shit, I would bang that 95-year-old woman right now.
The Shah was also known, he threw like the craziest party of all time. I think it was to celebrate like 3,000 years of Persian history. And I think it was like the most expensive party ever thrown.
What was there?
Oh my God. The Shah party, we may have even talked about it on this podcast in the past. Shah party.
Because we talked about the MBS party. Mohammed bin Salman threw a party for himself and his dad made him cut it off because it had like superstar A-list musical performers, boatloads of cocaine, strippers. I think he flew out like 50 Instagram girls.
So apparently the Shah's party cost $1 billion. And I think that was a big reason that led to the coup, because they were like, this dude just spent $1 billion on this one party.
So like he's wasting your money.
Yeah, like he's not the guy we want in charge. He had like celebs, a ton of people from the U.S. I think a lot of famous actors in the U.S. were there. Yeah, because at the time of the party, 51% of the population lived below the poverty line. But he had some crazy things. Oh, Iran was suffering a drought at the time, and he was pouring gallons of water a day into the site.
So not a good guy.
Yeah, he pretty much like built a tent city of 50,000. I want to see where's the guest list.
So they saw that and they were like, we got to get this guy out of here. Then the U.S. and England, they were like, yeah, we're gonna arm people. We're gonna give you money, all the shit that you need, because whoever we're gonna install, we think will be better than the last person. That's one thing the CIA never thinks about. Is like, okay, this is a good idea for something short term, but what happens like 10 years from now?
Yeah. Yeah, some people are saying it's the most expensive party of all time.
That's cool. I would trade. You know what?
Yeah.
If I were him, I'd be okay with a coup. I'd be like, we had the most expensive party ever thrown.
Yeah,
That's
so
a fair trade.
But right now I'm talking about this was the Iranian coup that led, because like the U.S. was the one that put the Shah in charge, and then after the Shah threw that crazy party, that's when the Muslim Brotherhood took over.
That's when the second coup happened.
Yeah,
yeah. I'd be fine with that though. Like you had a big party.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy it. There's been coups in the Dominican Republic. There was an attempted assassination of the president of Venezuela. It was actually the dictatorship of Rafael Trujillo. He was ethnically cleansing thousands of Haitians in the Dominican Republic. And he tried to kill the president of Venezuela. And that dictatorship ended. He got ambushed, killed by armed political dissidents. The gunman who shot him said, "Nobody told me to go and kill him," but he did actually get told to do that by the CIA. Vietnam, we got fucked up in Vietnam, mostly because of a coup that we enabled in South Vietnam, 1963. You can read more about those in the Pentagon Papers, but we supported that.
Why was there such a run on coups in the 60s?
Cold War.
Yeah.
So like the entire history of Vietnam, which we don't really have time to like go into, and I don't know that much about it, but it was like a French colony for a while. Then the French kind of backed out for a little bit. Then there was a power vacuum there. Then rivals in the North and the South. And we decided that we were going to get involved and we were going to do anything to stop Vietnam from becoming a communist state or like a satellite state of China and Russia.
Right, but there were plenty of others. Like Dominican Republic, you just talked about, Congo again, Guatemala,
Chile,
Brazil. They were all over the place.
Chile was a big one. 1973. They elected a president, Salvador Allende, depending on how you pronounce it. But he got elected 1970, and we wanted to fuck him up big time because he was a socialist, and it was the Cold War. So like at the time, we didn't want any socialism in our hemisphere. We didn't, because of the domino theory that they had, which was, if one country does it, the next one's going to do it. So this dude won, and then Richard Nixon told the CIA to make the Chilean economy scream, basically fuck up the economy and make all the people there pissed off at the president and get him out.
That's kind of a strong edict.
Make it scream?
Yeah.
It is a strong edict, for sure. So the CIA worked with 3 different Chilean groups. It was a triple coup. There were 3 groups that were plotting coups against Allende in 1970. There were a bunch of Chileans that were actually college students at the University of Chicago. They called themselves the Chicago Boys, and they were pushing like neoliberal economic reform, which is just basically like our modern day economy. And the CIA gave them weapons. The plans fell apart when the CIA was like, I don't know if I can trust these Chicago kids down there. But we kept trying to overthrow them until Pinochet led a military coup against Allende in 1973. And the CIA has an official count of the seizure of power on September 11th, 1973, and says that the agency was aware of coup plotting by the military. They had ongoing intelligence collection relationships with plotters, and because the CIA did not discourage the takeover and had sought to instigate a coup in 1970, probably appeared to condone it. They definitely condoned it. They were like doing propaganda in support of Pinochet. So they were working hand in hand. And Pinochet was when he took over, he took everybody like from the former government, everyone he suspected to be an enemy. He rounded them all up, put them in their soccer stadium. And I think it was in Santiago, Chile, and just kept them in a prison there and executed a bunch of them. Just like had an open air prison at their most famous soccer stadium. Pretty wild shit. And then he took some of the guys that he really didn't like, and he would put them on a helicopter and then fly them out of town and then push them out of the helicopter.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah, tough way to go.
Yeah. I feel like back then the U.S., they didn't care who was in charge as long as you weren't communist. So that's why they like backed 3 groups of people. They're like, one of these people will probably pull off the coup.
One will win, and then that's going to be our guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was essentially like if you had any relationship with Russia, we didn't want you in any of the Americas. We tried to coup Castro several times too. That's what the Bay of Pigs was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that makes sense.
Bay of Pigs.
And Castro couped himself too. Like he did a coup against Batista.
Yep. Yeah. So he took over, and we tried to fund Batista, I think, and then Castro won, and then we're like, we got to get this motherfucker out.
Yeah.
And then we tried to support the former Cuban nationals that were returning to Cuba in Bay of Pigs, and then we just, at the last second, I think it was JFK, he was like, you know what, we're not going to provide you with like air support or anything like that. So good luck on the beach.
Yeah.
They did not have good luck on the beach.
No. And then didn't we try to kill Castro by either poisoning his cigar or putting like a bomb in a cigar?
Yeah, dude, Castro survived probably 6 or 7 assassination attempts from the United States. We tried to kill him with a cigar thing. We had a woman that used to be a contact of his, and we turned her into an assassin, sent her back to Cuba. She ended up falling in love with Castro on the mission where she was supposed to kill him. And after they banged, she told him, hey, by the way, I've been sent here to kill you, but I'm not going to, because that was a good lay. Well done, Raul.
The guy had a lot of charm, I guess.
He fucked his way, and he had a good basketball game too.
Oh yeah, didn't he invent like the Euro step, or what's that rumor?
Yeah, Castro invented the Euro step.
Okay.
He, if you watch videos of Castro playing, dude could hoop.
What was the line? It said like he had invented a move so vicious that I'll find it. Hang on.
Yeah, Castro was fucking. He was hooping.
In his frequent basketball matches, this is a journal entry by Che Guevara. In his frequent basketball matches, Fidel has started using a new move he simply calls the step. It is undeniably effective, yet its goodness equally undeniable. As revolutionaries, we must not merely pay attention to ends, but to means. I worry that this flash and pomp is not befitting of the revolutionary leader. It serves to separate him too much from those caught in the chains of a maudlin life, marred by oppression and economic strife. Yes, it leads to a basket, but at what cost to the communal spirit?
Oh, shit.
So he was so nasty at basketball, he was actually anti-communist.
Yeah, it's like, you're so good. You're not really for the people, man.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what a good communist leader would do? A good two-handed bounce pass.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Fundamentals.
what? You know what, Fidel? Layup counts for 2 just as well as a dunk. Let's stick to that. Let's leave the flashy stuff to the American hoopers.
Flash and pomp not befitting of the revolutionary leader.
Bunch of Bob Cousies playing ball over there.
They're playing communist ball out there. I'm gonna say that if someone's just playing really boring.
Commie
ball.
Caesar got cooed.
Yeah.
When he got stabbed on the steps.
Yeah. And then did Caesar also pull a coup himself though?
That's a good question.
I think he did, because they had the triumvirate for a bit, and then I think he was like, no, we're gonna fuck this triumvirate. How about just one Caesar?
It's just one. Yeah. That's kind of what Napoleon did too.
Yes.
There were 5
Very
of them.
famous.
And he was like, no, not 5. No, not 3. How about just Napoleon?
Mm-hmm.
Let me take care of that.
He had such a good track record of winning battles, like no one was really in a position to say no.
That's the thing about military coups, is because you're really good at fighting in wars doesn't necessarily mean that you're good at running a country. I feel like that's 2 very separate skill sets.
I would agree.
Especially back in the day when it was like hand-to-hand combat and the weapons were like more brutal and up close.
But then unfortunately, like the people that run the military, they're the only ones who have the support to pull off a coup.
Yeah. The people that are really good at killing people, turns out more people will be like, yes, sir, I'll do whatever you say, sir.
Yes.
You should be president, sir.
Mm-hmm. And then I think the most famous failed coup in the world would be Hitler's.
Yeah, the push.
The beer hall push? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
I don't really know the details of that. Is it called that because it started in a beer hall?
Yeah, it was the beer hall putsch. It was 1923, and it was during the Weimar Republic, which is the government of Germany before Hitler came into the picture. So Hitler got done with World War I, and he was like, mad at his country because they got bent over in the treaty negotiations, and he saw a moment for himself and other revolutionaries where he's like, let's just take over the country. We can't take over the entire country all at once. We'll start with a smaller town. I know when they're going to have a meeting here. Let's just surround it, get all my dudes together. They surrounded it. He went in, had a gun. I think he fired a couple shots in the air and just said, like, this is a revolution when he walked in. He got arrested, and then he got put in jail. And then while he was in jail, he wrote Mein Kampf and said, I'm going to stop doing revolution with force. Instead, I'm just going to work on talking to the people and getting a groundswell of popular support for myself. So that way I will be able to transition into power without just like being one guy starting a fight against the country. Because if it's one guy against the country in like a show of just battle, I'm going to lose that battle.
Yeah.
So yeah. So he went to prison for a long time. I forget how many years exactly. But then when he got out, he was stronger than ever.
Mm-hmm.
He was only in prison for what, like 7-10 years after he got charged with treason? That seems like a slap on the wrist.
It might be even less than 7 to 10 years. That feels kind of long.
I feel like if you're, it's kind of talking me in favor of like longer sentencing.
I feel like, oh yeah, he was sentenced to 5 years, but he only served 9 months.
Oh, that's not for treason?
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have. That should have been a little bit longer. Well, it's Hitler. He became Hitler.
No, you're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong.
I wonder why they chose to release him so soon. Like, is it because they were like, this guy's actually making some solid points?
He's a political prisoner. Isn't it illegal to own a copy of Mein Kampf in Germany?
Is it really?
That would
I'm
make
sure
sense.
they don't play about that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a video recently of a guy like doing the Hitler salute in front of cops in Germany, and they fucked him up.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Send that to me.
I'll find it.
I want to watch that.
That's pretty lit, actually.
I don't. What do you Google to find that though?
German guy salutes Nazi salutes German police.
Yeah, but that's gonna be.
You're going to get on a list?
I'll do it on the work computer so they get in
You're
trouble.
gonna get on a list.
Yeah, that's another all-time. Add that to the list of things not to do. Breaking foreign countries' laws while you're on vacation there. Don't steal a poster in North Korea. Don't bring any shell casings or ammunition to Turks and Caicos, and don't do the Hitler salute.
Yeah, watch this guy.
Okay, all right. So there's a bunch of high visibility yellow shirt wearing police officers. Scotty Scheffler would be in trouble here. Okay, so he just gave the salute. And then they grab him, and then, yeah, they fuck him up. They fuck him up good.
Damn.
Yeah. It says he was, like, he only had to serve 9 months because during the trial, he just, like, he gave a bunch of speeches to the courtroom, and the judges were impressed. So,
That's
I mean,
wild.
listen,
That's a good speech.
no one ever says that Hitler wasn't a good public speaker.
The man gave a good speech. Let's let him. Yeah, he's probably learned his lesson. I'm sure this will turn out well. You won't reoffend.
Yeah.
Gift the gab.
Have you heard any of the clips of him talking where they turn his voice into English?
I did, yeah.
He has like a very feminine sounding voice.
Very loud, though.
Very loud.
Very angry. He's just screaming at the top of his lungs. But, yeah, he could talk.
There's some other coups here we can get into. Libya.
When you said Caesar,
Yeah.
I thought you was talking about the Planet of the Apes.
Oh.
And
Go
that
off.
was a coup. Koba led a coup against Caesar because he was helping the humans do their work to get lights. And
Which
started a
side were
war
you
against
on?
The humans, huh?
Which side are you on?
I'm a Caesar fan, bro.
Yeah, same.
Caesar was the man, dog. He just wanted peace for him and his family and his tribe, and he created a whole thing. It's amazing.
Have you seen the new movie?
No, I haven't seen it, but it don't got Caesar in it.
No.
So, but have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I'm gonna go check it out. Me and my kids watched the marathon. We did all 3 movies. They had never seen it before, so we binge watched all 3 of them. I think last weekend. It was
They're
fun.
good.
Yeah. I tried to get them to watch the early ones, like from the 70s. They wasn't too impressed though.
Oh, you don't like the original?
I did. I liked it. I mean, because it's like you could tell they're in like monkey suits or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Ape suits, and that was goofy to them. States. I can agree because like when I try to watch Star Wars, I feel the same way. So, but I grew up on that movie, so it was one of my favorites.
There's a very good episode of The Simpsons where they do a musical rendition of Planet of the Apes. I think you'd like it. Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Oh, Dr. Zaius.
Amadeus.
Yep.
Yeah. A remix to that.
There's the October Revolution, which actually took place in November in Russia. So it was 1917, November 7th. That's when the Bolsheviks took over. And it was a civil war.
Yeah. Are you allowed to call it a coup if it turns into like a 5-year civil war? I feel like a coup needs to be done in like a week or two.
The coup like took over the government, but then there were like aftershocks of a civil war. So the coup wasn't finished. So then it's just like a war. Then it's just civil war.
Yeah.
'Cause civil war, I think, is different, definitely, than a coup.
Yeah.
The idea of a coup is like we want to change government, but we don't want to do all that work.
Yeah,
What if
it's just a
like,
one and done, a swift like chop off the head, boom,
yeah,
put in a new one.
Now I'm the captain. Yeah. So that it took place November 7th, but Russia used the Julian calendar, which makes it October 25th. But then they switched to the Gregorian calendar, which is now November 7th, but it's the October Revolution. Fun fact. Then we talked about Cuba, and then Libya with Gaddafi. He was taken out during the Arab Spring uprising. But did you know that he grew up illiterate? His parents didn't read, but he hated the Libyan monarchy. He hated the fact that they were in bed with the United States and with a lot of Europe. And then he was 27 years old, and he decided that let's get together. We're going to go overthrow the government. The king is out of town. And then him and a bunch of his friends drove like military vehicles into Tripoli, into Benghazi. There were 70 co-conspirators. They surrounded the royal palace, and they just walked in, and nobody really tried to fight him at all. And then he was just a dictator for the rest of his life. Strong career move at the age of 27 to get away with doing a coup. You're set for life.
People must have really hated the king.
Yeah, they hated that guy. And then they eventually turned on Gaddafi as well. That was a brutal video for him at the end there. And they just started like beating him. But you could see the look on his face. He was still like, "How dare you?" As they were about to kill him, he's like, "You disgust me.
Yeah,
don't touch me, you filthy animal."
Maybe the most quintessential dictator look in history, though, Gaddafi.
Yeah, Gaddafi had a good one. I would say Mobutu Sese Seko and Gaddafi. Those are the two that all aspiring dictators should try to look like.
Who was the guy in Uganda? Idi Amin. Mm-hmm. He also had a solid dictator look. If you look at that, just
that's
decorated.
Good. Yeah. That's good. He like made his own medals.
Yeah.
He's like, I need them to be bigger. So Uganda's top general, this is 1971, their top general was a close ally of the President Obote, who had led the country to independence from Britain in 1962. The two men eventually began to distrust each other. Just prior to leaving for a conference in Singapore, Obote allegedly secretly ordered Amin's arrest, Idi Amin. Word of this plot apparently leaked back to Idi Amin, who responded on January 25th while Obote was still away by moving troops into Kampala. Firing automatic weapons and mortars, Amin's men quickly took possession of the airport and other strategic sites prior to announcing their successful coup over the radio. That's got to be such a rush to just announce, like, we did it.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Yep. So he called himself the last king of Scotland, and he killed 300,000 people in 8 years.
That's crazy.
And then he got deposed. They got him out of there, and he got to just live in Saudi Arabia. So he never faced any consequences for his actions at all.
I think the same with the Shah. I think the Shah just got to retire somewhere nice and live the rest of his life in luxury.
I mean, Napoleon too. Napoleon got sent to that island. He had it made.
St. Helena, right?
Yeah, and then why leave the island? That's the goal in life, is to work hard enough to get to a point where you can just go living on an island when you're older. And he did that. He was like, fuck this island. I want to go back to Paris.
And then where was he sent after he went back and tried to take over again?
At one point, they sent him to an island in the Atlantic Ocean. Again, another an island, but it was a prison.
I think that was St. Helena. Because St. Helena is like it's an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Because at first they had him in a prison like a lot closer to France, and then they're like, we need to get him a lot further away.
Yeah, so they really put a lot of money into just not killing him. Would have been way easier to just cut it off right there.
But they thought that would lead to like a revolution.
They're probably right.
Like another one because he was so well liked.
All right, so that's Coups. Also, the kicker for the Falcons.
Youngway
Coup. All right, so that does it for Macrodosing today. We'll be back next Tuesday. Let's do some more voicemails on Tuesday. How's that sound? Thank you for the riddles. If you have any more riddles, let us know. We'll see you then. Love you guys.